Billy just said he's amped, by the way.
That's the opposite.
Great.
We've got two different things happening here. We've got Stugotz saying he's ready to go because he's got something for John Legend. He just whispered.
I thought you meant leave Austin.
Well, Billy just said.
That's what I meant.
This has getaway day vibes because we've almost been kicked out of the hotel 4 times, he says. What happened, Billy? The latest incident you had is that everyone just heard you peeing because you went in there with a microphone on.
Live mic.
You had a live mic on and everyone heard you urinating.
I didn't think that you were going to share that. I have this mic on that Tony and Lewis put on me, and then I forgot that I had it on, and then we were going to the bathroom. Roy holds the door open for me. I follow him in. I hold the door open for a listener who was going in, and I was like, wow, there's pressure now because the 3 of us are going to be peeing next to each other at the urinal. And who wants to be first?
Who got the corner spots? Who got the corner spots?
I was in the middle.
Ooh.
Roy was on the side. Yeah.
Pressure position.
Wow.
It was a pressure position, and I was like, I hope that this person doesn't judge how long I pee for.
Ooh.
And then I come out and I realize, oh crap, I'm wearing a microphone. So I go to Tony and Lewis, like, did you guys hear that? And I'm like, you have to ask Danny. And I asked Danny, like,
Just
did you hear me
smiling.
peeing? And he just smiled. Everybody was listening. Yeah.
Better than a camera, I guess.
That happened all the time to my dad on Highly Questionable. Of
course it did.
Just all sorts of bathroom noises. He'd go to the bathroom. What do you have for John Legend? We were heckling him, and he's a very nice man.
Yeah.
And
Is he here watching, John?
No. Stugotz was mad at him because Stugotz just got done doing stupidity on a grand piano.
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow.
Right next to a conference room, yes.
We got warned multiple times.
I did lay on the piano. Billy set me up at said piano, and then he fled the premises.
Yeah.
He wanted nothing to do with it.
No.
What do you mean, no?
This is what happened. We needed a place to do it, but it's very quiet or very loud out here with, the music playing and this crowd that's
I know,
crazy
it
and
is
making so
energy.
much noise over here.
Let's go!
So we
There's some noise,
couldn't do stupidity because of noise. So we were
Makes
looking
some
for a
noise.
table inside, but there's no tables by outlets. But we found a grand piano by an outlet. So we plugged in the microphone and the computer in front of a grand piano.
Nice.
And Stugotz is there, but right next to the grand piano are 2 ballrooms where there's like important conferences going on. So I told him, like, you got to keep it down a little bit because you have the tendency to talk really loud. So, like, let's just shh a little bit. He's like, I want to play the piano, buddy. I'm like, no. Like, play the piano after we're done so that we don't get kicked out for you playing the piano.
I tickled the ivory, though, Bill. I did.
So we were warned once because of how loud he was going, and they said, you have 5 more minutes, and then you got to either get out of here or he has to be quiet. So what I did, like any great producer would do, I left because I figured
Less is more.
if they're not going to interrupt him while he's talking, but if I'm there, they'll come to me and get me to get him to stop talking.
Smart.
So I
Yeah.
was hiding around the corner, kind of peeking around,
He
seeing
was.
if he was going to be able to continue or not, because I didn't need to be out of sight so that they wouldn't tell me to tell him to shut up. Now, I was very proud of him. He was keeping it down. But he did start playing the piano after I asked him not to do that. And then after we left, I also grabbed all of the equipment and I left him with our photographer because the big idea was to get him to lay across the piano. And I was like, I can't be here where they're going to break a $200,000 piano. So I'm taking the equipment and do whatever you want. I have no problem with
Did
that.
Juju get any photographs of Stugotz laying on a Four Seasons grand piano?
Better. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also
Thumbs
got
up.
video of him tickling the keys because in a rare role
It's the ivory
reversal,
mic, yeah.
I saw Stugotz by himself and I decided to document it, and I actually got to see Stugotz be reprimanded by Billy, who didn't like the chaos factor for once.
Well, he's not going to like it this way either because Juju evidently found Billy in his natural environment. Billy was riding around town on a scooter.
Yeah.
And there's
Billy?
there's a photographic proof of Whitty rode around town on a scooter. I imagine
Not surprising.
in a suit.
What do you
and
mean? What do you mean not surprised? I can just picture you with your head up, just like going at, just like super excited to
Perfect
be traveling.
form.
I'm honestly surprised it's not one of those bicycles with a big wheel on top.
Yeah.
Billy,
The
did
penny
you know
folder?
that you had been caught doing this? I imagine that you would, with some consternation, feel silly about perhaps
He has to
being
poop?
recognized.
I have a confession to make to everybody here, and I don't know if now's the time to do it. But this morning, everybody went out to breakfast, and I was doing some production stuff, so I didn't go. And then I told them I'll meet you for breakfast. And then Chris gave me the name of a restaurant,
Yeah.
and I put it in the Uber, and I ended up in a residential area where there's a dentist's office.
I did too, actually.
That might have been my bad.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not the
Chris.
only idiot.
I texted you the address.
couple
That
idiots
address
here.
was not the right one. That one
was?
Dude, I'm telling you, we don't need this. Is
It doesn't
we're
matter.
getting in the weeds here. But it worked for our Uber. I pasted it into Uber and it worked for us. And then I sent it to Billy and he
You
ended up.
sent an address that had everyone near a residential dentist's office.
That's right.
Well, I was too embarrassed. I had too much Bennett to tell the Uber driver this is not right. So I said, thank you. And I got out of the car. I got out of the car by the dentist's office. Wow. Wait.
You were ashamed with an Uber?
Yeah, I didn't want him to know that I'm a moron. So I'm walking around this residential area next to the dentist office, and I'm like, he stops. I think he realized something was off because he put on like his hazard lights and was not leaving the parking lot. And I'm like begging, which is the opposite I should have been doing. Like, please God, just leave. I don't need you knowing that I'm an idiot. And then I'm like, I need to wait at least 10 minutes or the same Uber driver is going to come back and pick me up. And I can't have that be the case. So I rented a scooter instead to ride that into town so that the Uber driver wouldn't get me.
Incredible.
Well, it gets worse.
So your poor mind, man.
So I ride the scooter into town, and I leave it where I think is close to the restaurant we're going to, but it's still like 12 blocks away. I don't know why I stopped riding the scooter, so I'm walking the rest. I finally get to the restaurant. I don't see them immediately, and I see a long line of people, and I'm starving, and I'm like, man, if I wait in this line, I'm not going to get food for 40 minutes. And I look around the corner, I'm like, did anybody see me? No.
We did actually.
Did you?
Yeah, we were like, "There's Billy," and then you walked around a corner, and then you disappeared.
Did you really see me?
No, I swear, we did
Yeah.
see you.
Oh.
We saw you
There's
walking from the
photographic proof of you on a scooter.
No,
that was
no,
a different thing.
that
Yeah.
was later. So you did see me.
We did see you. We were like, "Oh, Billy's here," and then we thought you were in line, and then you were nowhere to be seen.
Okay, I snuck out because I thought no one saw me, and I was like, we got a text. All I've wanted to do since I've been here is go to Whataburger. That's all I've wanted to do. I've never been there.
Oh, wow.
They know.
Wow.
They know, Dan. But we keep getting these nice texts saying, hey, we're going to have a team dinner at this restaurant and that restaurant. And every meal that we get reservations is one less opportunity for me to get Whataburger. So at this time, it's almost noon. And I said, you know what? This line's too long.
You did it?
I know where there's a Whataburger.
You were shaming Danny.
I got on the scooter and I rode to a Whataburger by myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Horse shit.
Traitorous
He's
behavior.
so proud of
Yeah,
himself.
and then I had to write it back, and then they caught me coming back, but I had already disposed of the evidence. And I saw Juju, and I did like a cool trick on the scooter.
That is.
I want to get to Whitty's scooter experience, but we can't deny the man the ability to rip John Legend, can we?
I mean, Dan, it's ridiculous. He walked by us during rehearsal. I asked him to come on. I wanted him to join us. Would have been a couple of legends cutting it up. He responded to our tweet, okay? We sent a tweet out, and he responded to it saying, hey, sorry, next time I had to catch a plane. The old I have to catch a plane.
I mean,
First
no,
off,
he
old
flies
next time.
private,
it's
right?
a private
It's his
jet. The plane takes off when Legend gets there,
PJ.
okay? And what next time? There's going to be a next time? Like the next time we're out here in Austin doing a live show and John Legend walks by, Dan, we got him.
Put it in the calendar for next year.
I don't believe, though, that you're feuding with John Legend. He didn't do anything wrong. All he did was walk.
He didn't join us.
How dare he
Said
walk
hi.
by? He walked by without stopping. How dare he?
Yeah.
I was talking with Whitty before the show about how football is just now doesn't care at all about respecting other sports and their times and their space. They're invading all of sports for we get all the attention. We have the 12 and 14 and $15 million broadcasters now on all our broadcasts, and football never stops. Because where's Bobby Wagner? Do we know where Bobby Wagner is? Does anyone know who won the Khalil Mack trade between Oakland and Chicago? Never
Chicago
mind.
lost. It doesn't matter what happened. The Bears, they lost.
But Oakland didn't get anything, and now Khalil Mack is done with the Chargers. Tom Brady returns. The conversation got real quick on Deshaun Watson from sexual assault, real quick, uncomfortably quick, to where's he going to end up, who's he going to make better, who wants that as the quarterback upgrade.
Well, there was an evolution on the story, which is he's not facing criminal charges, which all of a sudden is like, well, it's just civil. Let's get a quarterback.
That's right. But that's where the moral line is on that. We weren't respecting it. A lot of people in conversation, our show included, by talking about all the permutations of what if this day comes where a young quarterback, franchise quarterback, is available, and well, you got to deal with 22 sexual assault civil suits, or you got to deal with the civil ramifications, because while Adam Schefter stepped in it with a tweet that allowed the entire internet to drag him because he didn't understand grand jury proceedings and said this is why Deshaun Watson wanted his day in court, as if this exonerates Deshaun Watson just because criminal cases are a lot harder to get proven and tried than civil
Especially
cases.
that allegation as well.
And so where are we with that? How do you talk about this now that you have an alleged sexual predator that hasn't been exonerated, that you'll probably welcome into your huddle with civil suits, but a lot of teams are going to compete to give over future in order to get this quarterback, a quarterback who is stained, but you're welcoming that compromise into your huddle.
Well, I mean, it's sort of a fan behavior thing, isn't it, right? It's which fan bases are going to react negatively if they bring him into their team. Because I do think that the number of people in a fan base that would object to it has changed. I think just on this row, we represent 3 fan bases, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Miami, that could all use a quarterback right now. And I think we've all looked at each other.
The Steelers have a quarterback.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Why would the Steelers need another quarterback? Now, actually, we have 3 quarterbacks. We have Dwayne Haskins. We have Mason Rudolph.
No, she said. I was waiting.
Dwayne Haskins.
Yes, when you have 3, you know what that means, right?
We all watch Rudolph.
I guess when you have 3, you don't have 1. Is that the old
Yeah.
adage?
Yep.
What?
But, and then I as a Dolphins fan, where I think we've all kind of gone, I really prefer that our team didn't get him. And I think like that's kind of where you're at, where it's not like vehement. It's just, can we just not deal with this?
All 3 of you, though,
Yeah.
feel that way, right?
no, I'm
Cleveland,
staunchly-
Pittsburgh, and Miami.
I've had time to chew on this hypothetical, and it appears that the Browns not as noisily as the Panthers and Saints are right now. Keep in mind, Deshaun Watson has a no-trade clause, which is also another aspect to this. But
Well, he's going to pick his team. He's going to pick where he wants to play.
out of the teams that have interest in him,
Because he has no trade.
Yeah,
It's just Carolina and the Saints right now, right? Those are the 2 teams.
No,
that
others are
publicly.
Ooh, let's play best
You don't
fit.
want this. You don't want this out there if you're other teams. Specifically for the reason that I'm going to articulate amongst others is I'm not going to root for the Cleveland Browns if they acquire Deshaun Watson. I've spent several months thinking about what that would look like, and I don't want to have to explain myself for rooting on a team that has Deshaun Watson every time he scores a touchdown. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to deal with the moral conflict of having to root for this person that has 22 of these allegations. They're very hard to bring forth actual criminal charges on.
Where's the line, though? Because Kareem Hunt was on that team.
The line is 22 allegations. That's a lot, man. And the Kareem Hunt thing, it's not apples to apples. I saw the video. We know what he did. I think Deshaun Watson, to a degree, personally, I feel like he's trying to get one over. He has a great attorney in Rusty Harden, and it's very difficult to get that specific allegation to bring forth criminal charges. I flatly would be in the market for a new team. I don't want to have to deal with that.
That represents a great change because I think, you know how badly Whittingham and Chris Cody want a quarterback. You know that 20 years of Dolphin football has been terrible. And
This is a generational quarterback.
It is a generational quarterback, but the Miami Dolphins specifically botched this. They wanted that quarterback, and they botched the ability to get that quarterback because they would be in the game for that quarterback right now. And it's yet another way where you find out, as we discuss some of this stuff, that you were almost stuck with that moral conundrum on your football team, and your team got lucky. That either lucky or unlucky, depending on what your perspective is. Lucky that you avoid the moral conundrum, or unlucky that you're not going to get a quarterback who will probably be good for 10 years.
I don't have to make that decision right now because they made it for me back in September when they inexplicably tried to do this when there were criminal charges pending. Now there are no criminal charges pending. In theory, we still don't know whether it was the owner, the GM, or the coach that was driving it. It's been pinned on the coach who has since departed. But I would imagine the owner was on board. He's been on board to do all kinds of things, including allegedly paying his coach to lose games to get a quarterback. He's as desperate as David Tepper is, and yet he was so desperate, or they were so desperate, that they went before, I guess, the ground is somewhat cleared. Not entirely cleared, as you said, but somewhat cleared for a team to have their name out in the press as being linked with Deshaun Watson, and it be somewhat morally okay compared to the way it was before. It's not morally okay, but it's better than it was before, and yet somehow the Dolphins blew their chance before it was okay.
Jessica, when we were talking before, you get Ben Roethlisberger has been difficult to defend as your quarterback for a while. You wouldn't want Deshaun Watson on your team, would you?
I wouldn't want to defend anyone who's been accused of bad behavior, no. And I think a lot of Steelers fans did want Deshaun Watson and didn't see the issue with that. I don't think sports fans as a whole feel the way that the 3 of us feel because they see a team that can win more games. And that's what sports fans, I think, genuinely care about more than anything. as if you look at a fan base as a whole, which is, super disappointing, but it's why we are where we are, where there's now a bidding war for Deshaun Watson.
Sports washing is absolutely an effective tool. This was my internal struggle. It's like, I don't want to have to explain myself after every touchdown. And then the devil on my shoulder is like, it's a lot of touchdowns.
A lot of winning, Mike.
But to Jessica's point, I do think it's worth exploring, though, like how grayer that area has become, because sports fans as a greater populace have been generally defined as Neanderthal, knuckle dragging, don't care about anything. And I do think that as, like Ray Rice was a real turning point where, fan bases across the country had to determine, well, if that happened on my team, do you defend your guy? And like, no, you can't. Like, Ray Rice was a turning point, and I think now there's way more awareness, there's way more sensitivity to those issues where I'm not saying it's even a majority. I'm saying, like, I think that split was maybe 99-1 in 2008.
I don't think many people are doing what Mike's doing.
It's not much better.
I don't think
so
the
either.
boycott of my own team and my lifelong allegiances, I'm surprised to hear Mike say that.
It's like 80-20 now? Is
But
it
the,
not 99-1?
the coverage immediately on Friday afternoon was, okay, the trade market's going to heat up. It wasn't like there was barely any sports media coverage of what happened at the grand jury, other than Jenny Vrentas in the New York Times, who was there in Houston.
The Texans games didn't have any of it this year. Their franchise quarterback is sitting out, and you would hear precious little about that in the broadcasts of the game.
We didn't even take a breath to analyze. Most people don't even know what a grand jury is. Most people don't. A lot of people I saw on Twitter were like, "Oh, he was found not guilty." That's not what happened. That's not the same thing. And there was barely any coverage of what actually happened last week before it was, okay, what's his trade value? How many first-round picks?
On ESPN, they're doing, what's his best fit?
To your Kareem Hunt point, another part of it is it's a quarterback position. It's the most important position in sports. You owe all of your success to that position. I can't just be out of sight, out of mind. Oh, third down back. It's okay. He's not one of the 11 on the field right now.
No, he's your franchise
He's
face.
touching the ball every play.
And he's coming out and being the face of your franchise. The quarterbacks, we were just talking before the show started about how much money Kirk Cousins has made in his career. What was that stat you guys gave me on Brady? Who was it?
Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer has earned more in his career than Joe Montana.
Yeah, Anthony Lima. Anthony Lima says approximately $35 million in career earnings for Brian Hoyer. Joe Montana made $25.5 million his entire career.
Do you agree with Whittingham, though, where from a fan standpoint, it was 99-1, just give me the quarterback, I don't care about his past, I don't care what's going on off the field, I just want to win, and now it's a bit better?
I don't think that they are representative of sports fans. I believe they are trying to be morally conscious, and sports is putting people, like America is putting people in a whole lot of spots that are uncomfortable. I didn't even know until we got here that we had bothered some of our audience by coming to Texas in the first place, because what they've done with women's rights, but we work in Florida, and Florida is just as bad as Texas. It just doesn't have the pillows in the window that have Dolly Parton with a shotgun, that read "fuck around and find out."
No, we have a panda with a machine gun in Wynwood.
But I mean, there are moral conundrums everywhere. I mean, I think we could find one patch of real estate somewhere in the United States where we can do our show and not have some sort of moral conundrum. So let's talk about dinner last night, because Chris Cody looks like he's got the meat sweats back there.
Well, look, first I want to say thank you to the Metal Art for taking us out last night. We had a delicious, because I'm about to, there's a butt coming. This is more a take on barbecue in general.
This is Chris being political.
There's more, my take is with barbecue, okay? Last night's food was delicious. Great pork ribs, great beef ribs, great brisket.
This is a great barbecue town.
A great barbecue town. And I was enjoying it. But afterwards, I just think barbecue is overrated. If you give me...
You can kiss my ass.
Wow.
If you give me...
Kiss my ass.
If you give me elite Asian
Shut up.
Elite Mexican
Boo,
food.
Chris Cody. Shut up.
I'm going barbecue last of all those options.
Let's hear him out.
Yeah.
No, let's not. Let's hear him out. Go to River.
Of all the genres of food, if you're giving me elite food in that genre, I'm going Asian food, Mexican food, Italian food, Cuban food. I'm going all those genres before barbecue food. Maybe I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
Shut up. I see this guy nodding along.
Hey,
You're welcome here.
Guys, give him a chance, and then when he stops,
I just did.
Then when he stops
Then
talking,
boo him.
everyone can just chant "fuck Chris Cody" together.
Yeah.
Okay. Go. Sorry.
I'm done though.
Oh, you done now?
Said my piece.
Fuck you, Chris Cody.
I feel like I was getting some people agreeing with me when we were at lunch before this. Mike Ryan, and then now I'm getting no support from anyone.
No,
I
absolutely
like.
not.
Who was supporting you?
I like barbecue.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it over some of the other food genres that he just
I think,
mentioned.
to
So if
Chris's
you
point-
encounter someone like Roy that's like barbecue's the absolute best, I'd align myself more with Chris Cody. Is this meager enough for everybody?
No, and I'll be a little bit more full-throated in saying that I think
yeah.
that barbecue, high floor, low ceiling. So you've never had bad barbecue. You've never gone,
I'll say this.
holy shit, barbecue.
Barbecue is the best thing I've ever had in my entire life. It's so delicious. I want to bathe in barbecue sauce. I love it. I can't have enough barbecue. 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 Barbecue.
BBQ.
Him with a live credit's
I
particularly
love
dangerous.
Billy Blaze with a live crowd. It's
Instead of
fantastic.
Lewis and Tony in the corner of the room, he's just talking to a bunch of people with no
They're in the same
microphones.
spot, yeah.
I love Chris saying maybe I'm wrong. It's
Yeah,
his
and you
opi-
are.
It's his opinion.
No, I don't think
He has the
that's-
wrong opinion.
You had such a strong barbecue opinion, and you cannot.
I know,
If you've learned nothing from the take business, it cannot end with a
Maybe-
meek, maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, Chargers hat. What do you think about barbecue?
It's
It's amazing. There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Jessica,
Hey, Chargers.
your entire life these days is just wandering around name-dropping celebrities, and I understand.
last night,
Adrian
Dan.
Grenier.
Whoa!
Oh, he was
Oh, man,
there.
get right
No,
to
it
it.
doesn't,
Enjoy
it doesn't
some
work that way.
barbecue.
It doesn't work that way.
you've
Do it
gotta-
the way
you gotta
that he
build up.
probably hates.
Yeah.
Do it the way he probably
Vinny Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys ate barbecue with Vinny Chase?
He
Yep.
was
Yeah,
He's
he
at the
was next
table
to
right
us.
next to
He
us.
was
So
with
basically-
We Lady in the Tramp a pork rib, Dan.
Yep.
Me and Adrian Grenier.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
Ooh.
picnic style seating, so basically we ate with him.
Yeah.
But Jess had it in. Like,
Yeah.
she had it
I
in.
did
He was
have
with
it
someone
in.
in the crew.
He was
Yeah.
with the whole entourage.
Oh my God.
Hey, you got the one?
Walk to
We
the
were
river.
trying-
Should I go
well-
to the river?
Horns.
He was with an entourage. Stugotz was going to get him onto our show today,
Who liked it? Who
and
liked
then
it?
Mike Ryan shut it down.
Yeah, I shut it down.
Well,
because-
Mike Ryan reminded me a few years ago we had him on at the height when he was relevant. Okay.
Oh, God.
And
Oh,
we
my
were,
God.
come on.
What happened?
Oh,
Well, hold on a second. Now we had him on and he wasn't very good, and so I was going to ask him to come on, but Mike said he wasn't good when he was relevant. So I mean,
And you don't remember it at
You don't
all.
remember.
I have no idea.
It
that he
was
on.
17 years ago, it felt like. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've harbored a grudge for damn near a decade and a half.
But he was relevant enough for you guys to be super excited
He's
about
still
eating
great looking.
dinner.
The eyes,
Oh,
man, the
is
eyes.
he dreaming?
Looks great.
Man, is he dreaming?
He hasn't aged a second. Also short.
Yeah, he is smaller than I imagined.
Very short.
Yeah.
Aren't all
Not
those
shocked.
guys?
It's Hollywood. It's a Hollywood
Oh,
total.
they said-
Total.
how
Yeah.
tall is
John
Tom
Legend was
Cruise?
a little bigger than
Vin
I thought.
Diesel's 4'7".
You were impressed by the John Legend calves.
Oh, the
He
calves,
looked
those
great.
calves
He
were
looked great.
impressive.
It's a breezy day, so the moisture wicking fabric that
Yeah.
he had on his shirt was working overtime, and it's just.
I
it
knew
looked
his
great.
upper body would be good, but the calves were a surprise.
You guys were talking to me though about the quarterback prices. Kirk Cousins gets another extension for another close to $40 million, all of his money guaranteed. And I ask you again, do we know if he's good? He's made how much money in his career now? Is it $300 million?
231, I believe.
He's going to make $300 million when it's all said and done.
right.
For an average quarterback, like he has nailed the business side of
above-
the NFL, but he's
above
nailed
average.
it, right?
He's above average.
All right, above average, whatever you want to call him, he has nailed the business side of the NFL, right?
I think he is exactly average. He's no worse
Will you give
or
me
no
slightly
better than
above?
average.
Will you give me slightly above?
Well,
give you slightly.
okay.
He was good this year, and it didn't really result in success for the Vikings.
Have you guys?
Ooh, Dan, it's cafecito time! Cafecito time!
Dance contest, let's go!
Guys, this is Hildy, by the way.
Hello, Hildy.
Hildy!
Yes!
But we were having such a great conversation about Kirk Cousins.
Oh, you can keep doing
Anything
that.
from Kirk Cousins.
It's probably for the best.
I'm looking at this, Dan, and it looks like she's made enough for some of our friends.
Chargers hat?
Chargers hat, you won?
That's not enough
Well,
for everyone.
for some of our
Billy.
friends.
Yeah.
A select
Some
few
of our friends.
I had a lot of coffee earlier this morning, and I was a little wired when we were at breakfast, the one that Billy missed because Chris
Yeah.
gave him the wrong address.
Yeah,
I think
debatable.
this might actually kill me, but I'm gonna do it. 'cause
Did you
it's
have a
cafecito.
kombucha too?
What is that?
You don't like kombucha? It has like
Oh, kombucha.
Oh,
the
Oh,
tea.
I love.
Did I
kombucha.
say it wrong?
I thought you said I thought you said something in Spanish. To be
Yeah.
honest, I didn't understand what you were saying.
Felt
Kombucha.
racist.
Oh.
Whoa!
Just felt
Wow.
racist.
What?
It's like Anchorman. I don't speak Spanish. But it was a dog barking.
I was boring you guys with football conversation.
just interrupted.
Football is
Cafecito,
dominating.
Dan.
Football is
Oh, it's
dominating
just Kirk Cousins,
the
that's all.
news stream. They've taken from basketball the storylines, the transactions. They knocked college basketball out of the way last night. They don't respect any of the things on the sports calendar for any other sporting events. They genuflect before no one. Are you not noticing that football is now? They just gave us all the greatest games, and a month later, Tom Brady retires, unretires, and takes up the time in between, and now they dominate this week as well.
There's really nothing else to discuss other than Tom Brady if you want to discuss the NFL. It's like you go from Tom Brady to Kirk Cousins. Like, what do you want it to do with that?
Well,
2 shots of coffee. I mean,
Kirk Cousins is like the exact bane of the sports fans' existence, which is good.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Oh, man.
We just gave out
She's
2
always
cafecito
waiting
shots.
for her bane.
Billy has
Billy
another
gave
2
2
shots.
people cafecitos, and I still haven't gotten mine.
Oh, shit. Hey, don't drink it.
Yeah, yeah, drink out.
Whoa!
You just
Take it from
Dan's
Chargers hat.
cafecito.
Rip it away from Chargers hat.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
Thank you,
Juju.
Thank you, Juju.
Wait, we can drink this now? I thought we were waiting for like a communal moment.
Oh, no, I threw mine down the hatch.
Down the hatch. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, I already drank mine.
You're
Down the hatch.
Hey!
I'll just pretend.
This is.
While we have the music, do we have a refrain? Or?
There's been enough.
I thought we did enough of that yesterday. I thought we did 3 or 4 too many of
You
those
just broke Tony's heart,
yesterday.
though.
I love Billy just chanting any name that comes on stage.
Fun hour, huh?
Power.
I think it's been 15 minutes.
It just feels like an hour from my seat. What were you saying about the number of transactions? Like, I don't know, where is Bobby Wagner playing? I know that this is
They're still a free agent.
The latest reports are Russell Wilson is actively recruiting him to Denver. But he has not made a decision yet.
If you're a Vikings fan, you just want out of the Kirk Cousins game, right? Like, I can't believe they signed up for another year at $35 million.
What are they supposed to do, though?
Anything else?
But look at what the Bears
Sean
just did.
Mannion,
You
though?
you
Like-
laughed at Jessica because look at what the Steelers just did. Rather, what they did. I'm sorry,
For
get your
getting the
teams
best
confused.
available free agent quarterback, Whitty. I mean, it was Jimmy G or Mitch Trubisky, and I feel like Mitch Trubisky's not a bad option, right?
I'd rather have
I feel
Jimmy
like
G,
it's a
but
bad
I'd rather have neither of them.
It's a bad option.
Take a third-round quarterback and start him. Trade for...
No, we need someone who can hand the ball off to Najee Harris 40 times a game, and Mitch Trubisky is going to be great at that, and the Steelers are going to be
Trade
in the
for
playoffs
Tyler
next year.
Huntley.
Wait,
Like,
hold on.
Do something creative.
Whitty.
Kirk Cousins, like, you're stuck, man. You're not doing shit with Kirk Cousins, especially paying him $35 million. You're doing nothing.
Would you take him over Tua?
No.
Yes, you would.
No, Tua's
yes,
on the
you
third.
would.
He's on the third
You're
year.
staying entrenched. Yes, you would. He's a better
on the
quarterback.
third year of a rookie deal. It's the only reason why I want Tua back. But third year of a rookie deal, you're paying him like $11 million. You're paying Kirk Cousins 3 times as much to be the same guy.
Herbert is still cheap, which is why it is that the Chargers can do things like trade for Khalil Mack. You want cheap at that position. You don't want expensive and just okay. And yet,
He wasn't just okay. Look at those numbers last year. He was really good.
forgive me,
You
because
get the 5 games a year where you know that Kirk Cousins is losing you that game.
Whitty, he had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
7 picks.
Stop looking at the numbers.
No,
Like,
I'm
What am I supposed to look at?
Wait, remember that moment forever. Chris Whittingham, stop looking at the
I love
numbers.
it.
What?
Set him up for it, Billy.
Remember that forever.
Book him, Dano.
You know the 5 games a year that Kirk Cousins will cost you. You just know that it's happening every year.
They're all in
And you
prime
know-
time.
and-
Yep.
Right, they're all in prime time, and you know that when it comes time to win a big game, he will not do it.
his career he won a road playoff game with the Saints, and he's good at situational football. He will lose you 5 games a year, and at the end, he will win you 5 games a year, and he is a 500 quarterback
And
for
so
his
you
career.
remain stuck.
But what I wanted to ask you when I was saying he's better than okay, you're right, but I was segueing into the musical chairs at quarterback where Washington ends up in a situation, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, is Carson Wentz better than Heineke? Like, I don't. Heineke's just okay, but is Carson Wentz
lot better.
appreciably better?
Yeah, I think Carson Wentz is a really good quarterback. Like, I know a lot of people have soured on Carson Wentz, but they forget, like, that guy was the MVP the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
That was a while ago.
With Nick Foles. I know, Mike, but look at the numbers, okay?
Yeah.
Because the numbers suggest.
No, I'm not doing look at the numbers. I'm saying look at the injuries.
I understand. The injuries are problematic.
I'm saying
yes.
he is physically not the same quarterback he was when he was lead dog and MVP.
But we would take him over Taylor Heineke, right? I mean,
not at that price.
It's the value. You can't just take the name. It's part of the price
I love names,
in a salary cap sport. But the part of it is, are you going to get value at the position? And did Washington get value at the position? Because you have to have a face. And now you've got the desperation, because we were talking about Deshaun Watson. The desperation, some teams have been left out on the musical chairs. They want to get in on Deshaun Watson. There's pressure because the other teams are making, you can't be just okay at that position. You got to be a little bit better than okay.
And there are no rookies.
Yeah, and I think, it's a bad QB draft class, which plays a lot into this. And that was part of the conversation that we weren't having yesterday with Tom Brady, is that Tampa Bay needed to do something because all these names were going off the board, and they were a super attractive destination where they play, the weapons that they have on offense. And I imagine Tom Brady got some pressure from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers too.
Billy, what are you laughing at back there? What are you and Chris laughing about?
We could start communicating again. We couldn't do this yesterday. Jessica had a great idea for a new game, Dan, that I think you might like. Stugotz has this idea now.
Cuz in or cuz out?
Oh, wow. What is this, stupidity?
How about that?
How about that?
Was that in the Stupidity Slack?
Yeah, it was.
It was,
yeah.
There's a stupidity Slack?
I got one. Barbecue. Cousins or cuz-outs?
Oh, cousins. Are
Absolutely.
you kidding me?
Yes.
Yeah?
Play to the crowd.
How about a fuck Chris Cody chant, huh?
Oh, no. Oh,
Oh my God.
don't do that.
Where did
Force.
that
He'll
come
read
from?
anything from that chat.
He's reading the chats like 10
Ron
minutes late.
Burgundy. Did you just trick him?
No,
He
that was 10 minutes ago when we were doing this
my
thing with the
God.
crowd.
He's Ron Burgundy.
He just read a
He tricked
Slack
me. He totally
note from
tricked me.
10 minutes ago. No, you just saw
There are
something.
timestamps, man.
He just said right before. I'm not kidding you that Stugotz mentioned earlier that Slack will be the end of him, and you just saw it.
Yes. Yes.
I'm tired of Slack. There's too many channels, too much communication. Listen, if you need something from me, call me.
listening.
I might answer, I might not, but at least we will have communication.
That's not
okay?
communication.
Mouth to mouth
You ignoring the
communication.
call.
Selective
Slack.
communication.
I may or may not answer. That's
There's a
communication.
Slack for dinner tonight. There's a channel for dinner.
He
No,
sent
there's
us-
not. It was just a message.
He sent us a
It's too
picture.
much.
A Slack has a setup here down the street
Yeah.
somewhere, and Stugotz took a picture and he's like, enough with
No.
Slack. It's all right with Slack.
And scene.
To it.
Mike, you would still be a Browns fan if Deshaun Watson was your quarterback.
I
He'd be
mean-
the best quarterback you've ever had.
I get your point.
Chris, he'd be the best quarterback you've had since Marino. Jess, you rooted for Ben Roethlisberger. I don't want to hear about it. Okay?
I get your point. I get your point. And it's easy for me to say, which I would push back on, but you say it's easy for me to say when it's not realistic because he may not be going there. I do think it'd be different once he's in that Browns uniform and there's a game of consequence. I don't know how I'll feel genuinely there, but I'm telling you right now, I've done the inventory on this.
I mean, it's just shitty. Like you shouldn't have to make a moral decision like this in an unprecedented situation. I shouldn't have to do it with Ben Roethlisberger. I shouldn't have to do it with any football player. There should be some sort of standard. The NFL should probably have done something about this and not let it go on so long.
Wait, but what would you like the NFL to do?
I don't know. I mean, there's an exempt list. Usually they use that when players get accused of heinous crimes. They haven't used it in this situation.
But do you want like Ben Roethlisberger suspended for 12 years? Like
I
just
don't-
like
I don't
like,
know.
like barred from the sport?
I don't know.
I want to know what it looks like when Mike is doing inventory.
Yeah.
Is he like staring at a mirror and
Yeah.
he's just like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Do you have a
Yeah.
scanner? I did inventory a couple of times when I worked in retail.
course you
Overnight,
did.
oh, annoying.
If you've ever seen the 25th Hour with Edward Norton, it's basically a 15-minute monologue that I do to myself. And not enough people have thanked me for that take. I basically do it. If I'm virtue signaling, I do want the applause for it.
You're doing the Elizabeth Holmes thing of practicing in a mirror last night how I'm going to deliver the righteous indignation
Yeah.
in a way. What and you're saying
You've never
something-
done that before? Like
you're-
worked out a take before you give a take?
No,
I mean,
well, I
really?
told you when we were starting here that I walked around the neighborhood at 4 o'clock in the morning saying "Pardon the interruption" again and again. I was so scared of the first time I did anything like this in front of people. But so I think it's just an amazing conundrum to find yourself with. You don't want this stuff leaking into the playground. Like
No, I don't want any of it. I'm dealing with it right now. We're in Austin. My first real, true, official bit of business with Chelsea FC was awesome fan events here in Austin, where I was interviewing Ashley Cole around town. Some of the best professional moments of my life. Christian Pulisic had his hat trick first in a blue shirt. And now I'm dealing with it right now with the Roman Abramovich stuff. And there's word that Saudis may take over Chelsea FC. I'm not doing it again. I'm just flatly not doing it again. I am out if it's Saudi ownership. I don't want to have to explain myself as much as I have.
You're ethically tired of moral decisions that you have to make, compromises that you have to make to feel comfortable cheering for people.
Yeah, moral fatigue. It's covered in Mike Schur's new book.
Really good book.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book, and I tried to do my best, and I feel like if I'm making a conscious decision to root on a team that has Deshaun Watson at quarterback, I'm making a very largely bad decision because of how much anybody that listens to the show knows how much I love this team because I know you regularly with it. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Woody, I have good news for you. You're not getting Deshaun Watson. You are getting Teddy Bridgewater. How about that?
What?
According to Adam Schefter.
Breaking news sound. Wow.
Teddy Two Gloves.
Teddy Two Gloves is going to Miami, according to Adam Schefter.
Coming
so there's
home.
Your quarterback.
Coming home. That is. Whittingham was completely underwhelmed.
I knew by Stugotz's setup that was not going to be good. Just the way he started that, I was like,
that was going to be bad.
Bang up day in free agency. Chase Edmonds and also Cedric Wilson. Have fun with that.
You were laughing at Cedric Wilson as an acquisition.
Who is Cedric Wilson?
Cedric Wilson is such a bad football player. We're in Texas, so maybe they got him in the local TV windows. He was disastrous. I have this thing whenever a player is bad, I call it Vrabel Cam. Locked in my Vrabel Cam on Cedric Wilson.
I got a Dallas Cowboy hat over here that's like, what is Mike talking about? He was good.
Nah, man. And watch the playoff game and watch that Thanksgiving game. Anytime.
Do I have to watch it?
I'm fighting one person. Watch Thanksgiving again.
Go back.
Anytime
and
they
watch
targeted
it.
him, it was a
wanna watch
disaster.
it.
Cowboys fan, please.
What?
Wow, what?
Yeah,
This guy.
yards.
Okay.
Why are you mad at the Cowboys?
We watched the game, all right?
America's team.
Awful.
You guys take inventory differently because while Mike is practicing his inventory takes, Billy in the mirror is wondering. I heard him because Lewis and Tony are here for Billy's Agent of Chaos
They're mad
stuff.
at me.
We'll get to that in
For
a
eating
second.
Whataburger?
Jessica is concerned
Whataburger.
because Lewis is betting on everything, including ATM fees. He's betting on everything.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And Billy is asking the question. This is how he chose to use the production break, was to wonder aloud if he, Lewis, and Tony could get in anywhere in Austin simply by carrying a ladder.
Don't tell people the plan.
A ladder?
Like
It's a great plan.
No, a ladder gets you in anywhere.
That's
Behind
a
the scenes, you're behind the
phenomenal
scenes.
plan.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether a ladder was enough or not. Do you need like a yellow vest as well?
Well,
And put it
okay.
on the poll at LeBatard Show. Can you get in anywhere if you're two people carrying a
Of course you
ladder?
can.
This comes from the same brainchild of Ducks Are Free.
Yeah, they
so,
are.
Yeah, that's true.
Hold on a second. So ducks are free, right?
here we
Everybody, yeah, ducks are free. Yeah, okay. So you can get in anywhere. And I want you guys to know this. Movie theaters, sequariums. You guys have a sequarium here? An aquarium?
No, we shouldn't have them
them-
anywhere in the world.
Well, we have one down in Miami, and you can get in anywhere.
Yes,
that's
because we're
ticketed
near the sea.
with a ladder.
Why would I go to a movie with a ladder?
Because you can get in for free.
get in for
with a
free.
ladder, yeah.
Sit at the top of the ladder?
No, you don't
No,
need the
you
ladder. You
drag
just use
your
it to
widgets
get
the
in.
ladder
Yeah.
once you get in.
Exactly.
It's
So
like
they
yak.
think you're part of the maintenance crew. You walk in, put the ladder on the floor, watch your movie. In and out.
Are there any other outfits? Because like I think if you like have a black T-shirt and an IFB, like an earpiece in, I feel like you can always say that you're security.
Or if you just put your hand to your ear.
yeah, your hand
you don't
to
need
your ear.
the actual
no, but
IFB.
you have to have
an
the
earache?
you have to have the wire connected to your neck.
Oh.
So
How
that-
much
so
do you
that it
need?
really-
How
it
much?
looks like it's
Are you guys
plugged in.
going to test this? Because I heard you arguing about whether you can bring a camera crew, because that defeats the purpose. There, people are going to know you're not a worker if you bring a camera crew. So you're going to test this theory without anybody being able to see the results of your theory.
Well, okay, so we started kind of rounding up the troops. So it was me, Lewis, Tony, and Danny. And we're like, I found a ladder. We can try this later if you want. He's like, oh, good, there's 3 of us, because we'll have one person at the end, one in the middle, and one at the front carrying the ladder.
Was it
Which is too many
casket?
people carrying a ladder.
Yeah. How
But
big
I
is
was,
a ladder?
I was like, we're going to need 2. Well, it's right there.
It's right
That's
there,
the ladder that we're going to
Yeah.
steal later. Don't
Standard,
ladder.
standard size.
Three,
Nah, it's a
three
little
is too
bigger.
many.
A little bigger
Three is
than
too
that.
many.
Three's conspicuous.
Yeah, three's a red flag. And it's 2. I think
That's
you
what
get in.
I'm. Well, an even bigger red flag is Danny following us around with a camera, which is what Lewis thinks is or what
Ooh.
Tony thinks is a good idea.
Guy with a
Whoa.
camera. Guy with a camera is a good
I think
guy
that
to part of your
helps.
crew.
I think it helps.
People always try to stop the guy with
No,
the
but
camera.
wait.
No, but if you're with the
No,
camera, they know you're up to something.
Exactly.
It's
Shenanigans.
long range. It's long range camera. He'll be standing far away like he is right now. We'll
But
be
they
just
won't
carrying
see
him.
him then.
That's the
Give him a lanyard then.
I've got your earpiece here if you need it.
I know. I
Wherever
think
you
you
wanna
guys
use
are
them.
overcomplicating this. I think if you throw in an earpiece and a camera, you're now bringing attention to yourself. Two guys with a ladder are just like walking through.
No,
and
you can't have two ladders. Two ladders is a giveaway. That's that's suspicious.
We were talking about having reflective vests as well on top of what we
Safety
were
vests.
wearing.
Safety
vest.
Yeah.
What happened with Lewis at dinner, Jessica?
I mean, what hasn't happened with Lewis at dinner? He spilled drinks on 3 different people this weekend. He opened his TikTok today. There was a very questionable video on the homepage. He's mad at me for bringing it up now.
That was fun.
Last
Hit
night
by
at
the
dinner-
algorithm. The
but I will
algorithm
say-
got you.
I will say one.
No.
I will say Dan Lewis's family now. Last night at dinner, he let me eat the meat off of his tray. That kind of sounded a little
Wait, what?
Phrasing.
Hell yeah.
This is going very strange.
HR situation here.
We're family now, Dan.
That makes
He
it
was-
worse.
he was-
Lewis is
Yeah, that's
sweating.
worse. Yeah.
There has been a bond created between Jess and Lewis.
I don't understand
Yes.
it.
We're
And
friends now.
I think Lewis also told me last night that those headsets aren't doing anything, and he's just doing it for looks.
Yeah, it's not connected to anything. Yeah.
Lewis will do anything, by the way. He almost got Adrian
My
Grenier
guy.
yesterday. Yeah, who Tony just keeps calling my guy because he forgets his name. Lewis was our last-ditch hope to go get him to come on the show. He's like, I will absolutely do it, but he told us his tell when he's nervous, which we all learned is he just scratches the tip of his nose. So
You
he
do
scratches
that a
the
lot.
tip.
You haven't noticed that
He's
before?
nervous. So he
does
was
it all the
gonna
time.
go get him, but he left the restaurant. So then our backup plan was he was gonna rent a bird and hit him with the bird, and then
That's
force the
not a good
conversation
idea.
that way. Yeah.
Don't do that, Lewis.
Bird being the scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
I-
betting, Dan. He was
Yeah.
betting on
how
what
do
the
you aim
ATM
at
fee
that?
was, and he won the bet, I should say. But
They-
Dan, here's something that actually, Dan, what would you guess an ATM fee at a barbecue place?
It
is?
wasn't at the barbecue place. It was awkwardly on the sidewalk outside of the barbecue place.
So a sidewalk ATM?
Exactly.
there's very little that will enrage me more than an ATM charging me so that I can get my own money
Right.
because these charges have gone up. So I'm going to say $5 or $6, like something
Ooh.
offensive.
I'd say $6.95.
Okay.
I guess 250. What was your guess?
I said 5.
Yeah.
I lost $1 earlier because I bet Tony $1 to scream at Renee Montgomery's wife, que lo que, because we saw her at night to see
That
if
was
she remembered. And
Easiest dollar ever made.
he
Yeah.
did it, so I didn't want to bet anymore.
But you bet on the ATM fee. What was the
Lewis
number?
won the bet. $4.50. $3.95. Just
Wow.
kidding.
I saw
Stugotz!
I saw an ATM fee. I went to a casino and I needed money, and the ATM fee was not a dollar amount; it was a percentage. It was 10.
What?
It was 10%
That
on your
is-
withdrawal.
Second worst place to take out cash.
What's first?
No,
I don't
we all
want to.
know. I know.
We don't need
You don't
this.
wanna know.
There-
Yeah.
there-
It shows up on the credit card as
Well,
Chinese.
There's places you don't go when you're married.
It shows up on the credit card
Chinese
as
food.
Chinese food.
Yeah. I have experience in this front.
That'll enrage you though at a casino, and that is simply taking advantage of the desperate. You will pay if you're at that ATM. By the
Yes.
time you've arrived there, you'll do just about
Chasing,
anything
just
to get
chasing.
whatever it is that
Yeah.
thing will give you.
Imagine the guy leaving the strip club to go to his normal ATM.
Oh, it's a strip club.
Wait, what? Whoa! Whoa! That's not what he was talking
Places
about.
you don't go
That's
when
not
you're
what he was
married.
talking
Yes.
about.
I'm saying hardware stores.
Scurrilous accusation.
My bad.
You mentioned how do you throw a bird, and I heard Chris Whittingham and Chris Cody earlier arguing about the throwing of.
Oh.
Well, killing two birds with one stone. I was like, why did anyone ever throw a stone and kill two birds? Were they trying to do it? Did they just throw a stone, kill two birds, and someone's like, wow, that works?
Why would you, why would
That
you
was
be
a great
attempting to
toss.
kill a bird? And with a stone? That seems cruel and unusual.
No one's ever done it, is what we're saying. Like, that's bullshit.
And
No
then-
one's ever
and then
killed two birds with
at
one
some
stone.
point, one time killed a bird with, or two birds with one stone, and went, I just killed a
I think
bird. One
kill-
bird, two birds with one
I
stone.
think killing one bird with a stone is impressive.
Yeah, they move.
Has anyone? Are you of the belief that
I am
no one?
Googling it right now. Has
Thank
anyone
you.
killed two birds with one
Has
stone?
Has anyone in here
Has
ever killed two
anyone
birds with
ever
one stone?
actually killed two birds with one stone?
Here in the crowd?
No, just I'm asking.
Has anyone in the
as
crowd
a
killed
poll
anyone?
question,
Yeah, raise your
Billy.
hand.
I
Raise
know
your
you want to
hand.
keep going to the crowd.
Chargers
I was
that.
asking you for a poll question.
Oh.
I know
Oh.
you want to keep luring the crowd into this, but no, none of you have killed two birds with a stone.
And you shouldn't, because that would be fucked up.
Thanks, Chris.
Had to be said.
Stugotz said it
No one
10
has ever
minutes
killed
late.
2 birds with 1 stone, Dan. I've looked it up.
Wow.
It says here, many believe the usage originated the story of Daedalus and Icarus,
Oh, God.
who escaped from the labyrinth on Crete by making wings and flying out, according to Greek mythology.
Just showing off.
Daedalus supposedly got the feathers to make the wings by killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Thank you, Whittingham.
No one was happy to hear that.
No one.
But he was
I
happy to
zoned
read
out
it.
several minutes ago.
Yeah.
I zoned out after Icarus.
Well,
to
you
like
guys,
Witty.
you get
You
different.
thought you were helping.
You
but-
get mad at him reading,
least
but
you tried.
perhaps when he summons passion from a place that isn't starched and red, you'll enjoy it because Whittingham has something for the fashion industry.
Oh,
no,
it's
don't
enough.
get started.
No,
please,
it's
Witty,
enough.
please. I can't do this right now.
It's enough.
We should hear him out.
Jessica
Should
today
we?
was banging on about, oh, baby Lando looks great in this Vanity Fair thing, and then I looked at the picture of it, and he looked ridiculous. The shirt was ridiculous, the pants were ridiculous, he was wearing some ribbon or something like that over his shoulder. It looked ridiculous. Listen, fashion industry.
Wow.
As a whole,
They're listening.
you need a friend. Everyone needs a friend to tell you, you look ridiculous. You look absurd. You're being a moron right now.
Wow.
It's very difficult for celebrities, right? The higher celebrity status
Bunch
you
of yes
achieve,
people.
the more it's difficult to have that one guy in your crew that tells you, hey, let's not do this. Everyone needs that one guy. And it's time, fashion industry, to go, listen, what you're not doing is art. It's absurd. It's absurd. You're like, this is not good looking. If I walked down the street with this on, I would look ridiculous. People would tell me I would look ridiculous.
Right.
You're heat checking.
He's cooking.
You're heat checking.
Keep
It's
going.
enough.
Keep going.
Fashion industry, please.
The prime example of
Told
this,
you you wanted to
Dismissal.
come on.
Clap for that.
You wanted,
the Met Gala.
Witty.
The Met Gala.
You look ridiculous. You look absurd. What you're wearing, not working.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You got a friend
But
in
no,
him.
Realistically, Witty, what a baby Lando's supposed to wear a quarter zip in Vanity Fair? I mean, come on, it's an editor. It's a fashion editorial. They're wearing high fashion. You might not like it. It might not be everyday wear, but it's not supposed
Wear
to
a
be.
suit with no socks.
No,
There's
he doesn't
a crazy.
They were high, baby.
Let's get
No,
wild.
absolutely
Wow.
not.
Let's get wild.
That's
Let's
a
wear a
wa-
He
suit
doesn't
with
get
no
it.
That's a
socks.
wacky outfit for you, Whitty.
He doesn't get it.
you
By the way,
mentioned,
Billy, I took that as a genuine sign of friendship.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's how it was intended.
I've never
was-
felt
That's
closer
the gacky how it was
than
intended.
when you just insulted me in
Right.
front of a
Be
crowd
careful,
of people.
Billy.
we're gonna get to Stugotz's weekend observations in a second here. But before
We are.
Crowd goes
I gotta
wild.
get him ready. Hold on a second.
before we do that, though, I want to sort of set
gotta
the
give him
stage.
15 minutes to find a document.
table setter.
So many windows open
in
right
Slack.
now.
Stugotz, though, last night she is binging. She's watching Bomani Jones's new show on the iPad, and she's binging. She's binging Drive to Survive someplace else. Billy, what are you laughing about? Now what?
Oh, Chris is mad at Bomani.
Yeah, I got a little beef with Bomani.
Oh, do you? Oh, do you now?
It's a dangerous
what's
game.
the problem
We should
with
hear him
Bomani?
out.
Well, you
Very
know,
dangerous.
I was asked to be a part of the first episode. I was interviewed by Bomani, and he cut me. It's bullshit.
You had an interview with Bomani Jones.
We talked
for
about a
Game
range
Theory?
of topics.
What did you talk about?
We talked about military-industrial complex. We talked about lack of minority coaches in sports,
Yeah.
criminal justice reform. We touched a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but not a single one made the cut. And he texted me after, yo, loved it. Got to have you back. Didn't even make the fucking cut. Bomani Jones, please.
Thanks, Chris. Mark?
Game theory.
More like lame theory.
Yeah.
There you go.
No.
Good get for Mike.
No.
Wow.
It was right there for you.
How was the show, Jessica? You're the only one among us, I think, who got to
Less
see
fat.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys have been doing. You're so busy you can't even watch TV while you're brushing your teeth in the morning and doing your hair and every second of the day. But I watched it last night as I was falling asleep, and it was actually really funny. They did a whole bit on Coach K. They opened a museum to talk about Coach K's victories over black basketball players, and I thought it was very well done. It was very funny.
I look forward to watching it. I believe that he has teamed up with Adam McKay, and they've got a lot of special people around him, and I think he's going to make a really special late-night show. But before we do Stugotz's weekend observations, I wanted to get all your thoughts on Drive to Survive here. I don't know, do you have a handful of observations that we can go to, or
I
do you want
I
to?
actually have top 5 Drive to Survive
Nice.
observations.
All right, so we're going to start it in reverse here. So it's not
Are
the
there any F1 fans here in Austin? I know you guys have a race every year. We got a lot of F1 fans here, Dan. I was talking to a
Circuit
few
of the
yesterday.
Americas.
A lot's debatable.
There's a lot. Let's start with number 5. Nikita Mazepin wanted an entire new car from Haas. Come on, Nikita Mazepin. Who do you think you are? You want a whole new car? Just drive your car better.
Wow.
Crashing into everyone. Ridiculous.
Number 4.
Charles Leclerc, his gearbox failing in Monaco was the saddest part of the entire F1 season last year. Devastating to watch that again.
On sharp.
Number 3.
Daniel Ricciardo and Baby Lando. A little bit of manufactured beef there. I'm not sure if I'm buying it.
Me.
Oh, wow. It's reality television rehearsed or what?
I mean, I don't think they're besties, but like they don't have to be besties. It does seem like, you know, there might be like a little bit of rivalry, but it doesn't seem like they hate each other.
Ever since the show has been criticized for potentially faking narratives, I've become overly sensitized to it because they have a commentator whose only job is to carry the story. So it's like, and now Charles Leclerc getting ready to sit down in his seat for the race. And it's like purely just lines that they fed him to fill the story. And it bumps me now. Whenever I hear that guy's voice.
You want it to be more authentic?
Yeah, because on the regular F1 broadcast, they're not talking about the guy who's in 9th. But in order to tell a story, they've got to get a guy in a booth to go, and he makes the turn.
But it's a hugely popular show because
Yeah.
they're dumbing all of it down so that it reaches everybody, an inaccessible sport.
I still enjoy it. It just bumps me that like they're clearly faking it.
Well, I mean, I don't know what they're faking in regards to like people's relationships with one another. That's the thing that I think fans get the most upset about is like manufactured rivalries. But they weave throughout the season like flashbacks, flash forwards, and they go back in time. So I think that narrator actually really helps as a device.
Number
it's
2.
not linear storytelling. George Russell and Valtteri Bottas' feud was real, and it was spectacular.
Seinfeld reference.
And number 1.
Lewis Hamilton should have won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
All right.
You got all the way to the end?
I
Yeah.
did, Woody, this
She
morning.
binged it. She
I-
snorted.
Wow.
She snorted the whole thing.
It was, the ending was, it was hard to watch it again. But you know what? Next week, Dan, Formula One season is back.
Wow.
She's watching Bomani on the iPad. Like Bomani was mad at me because I'm like, "Did you watch?" And he's like, "I don't know how to get HBO on the iPad."
Oh,
like,
Old
damn.
man. Old man.
Damn.
I thought maybe you got cut also.
Stugotz, let's do weekend observations here.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations.
What happened there? We had to go to the top 5, but we had weekend observations.
What happened,
set.
Woody? That's a fine.
I feel so bad for you.
From the top.
You hate it. You hate to see it.
Brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's give it up for Miller Lite. Yeah! Great taste. 96 calories. Available for delivery. Should have the audience do this. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Dan! He retired 40 days ago.
Uh-oh.
Everyone but me and Billy Gill thought he was serious. But after having his retirement ruined by a lawsuit claiming racism in the NFL, combined with a grueling 6 weeks of being a husband and a dad, Dan, make no mistake about it. Audience, Tom Brady is back. Dan,
TV 12.
you know what the B in Brady stands for?
No.
Back! Speaking of back,
I guess Botox.
senior guard play. Botox. I mean, I sent it to you in advance.
Senior guard play. is
Senior
back.
guard play. Tenacious D. Length. Dan.
What?
March Madness is back. Length is one of the go-to things for Jay Billis.
Hell
They
yeah.
have tremendous length. Yeah, that a boy. So is baseball, by the way.
Baseball also back.
Yep. Best thing about Austin is that it doesn't feel like I'm in Texas. Dan, you know what the A in Austin stands for?
I do not.
Ain't Texas.
It's the capital.
It's the capital. It is the capital.
Beautiful.
I don't feel like I'm in Texas. Do you feel like you're in Texas?
No. I feel like I'm in Austin.
Where are the boots? Where are the gallon hats? Where are they?
Literally behind you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that guy's in Texas.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm with you. But I've never seen someone go for a cheap crowd pop by shitting on the steak, too.
That's what I did,
That was 4D chess.
Dan, I'm walking around South by Southwest like I'm a rock star. You want to know why?
Yes.
Because I am.
Yeah.
There you go. What?
Whitney was supposed to play something there for me.
I'm just a man.
I am but a man. Fool! You want to lay out for it? You want to give him a second chance?
We'll give it the time. We're going to work out
Run
the
it
live.
back.
The
Do
live
it again.
kinks.
Yeah, do it
Yeah,
again.
go ahead and
Yeah,
run
yeah,
it back.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
see if we give you the
Say
time
it backwards
that
like
you
Ace
need.
Ventura.
Make the rewind.
Whitney, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Dan,
Yes.
I'm walking around South by Southwest like I'm a rock star. You want to know why?
Why, Stugotz?
Because I am.
Oh, from the musical. Oh, musical #1 comedy album on Billboard.
Comedy.
Number one.
What's funny about the musical?
What is fun? I was being serious about it.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. The Jets. Rock star. Anyone concerned about the nukes?
A bit, yes.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a button away, and it seems like no one is concerned about it.
I think there are plenty of people concerned.
Well, who? I mean,
all of us.
Try not to think about
I
it.
was encouraged by an article that I started reading that said nuclear fallout not as bad as you think.
no one's concerned.
Here are the 5 steps you need to make the most of a nuclear winter.
7 reasons to not be concerned about nukes.
I'm pretty sure it was just a creative advertisement for Elden Ring.
Speaking of things I'm concerned about, is anyone tracking that thing NASA shot up to space to block the asteroid that's supposed to destroy planet Earth? Whatever that device is, NASA should call it the Matumbo. And it should wag a finger at the asteroid after it blocks it. But is anyone concerned or keeping track?
Yeah.
You think NASA is?
Somebody
I
get
sure
on
hope
that.
so.
Somebody get on that.
Hey, Austin, I thought Chicago was the Windy City. Devontae Adams said he won't play for the franchise tag. Uh-oh. The second
caller after that line.
Did I really?
It was something out of like I expected from a lounge act in the Catskills. Hey, Chicago.
Rodney Dangerfield.
That was Take My Wife, Please.
The second Kirk Cousins tweets out that he's back with the Vikings with the hashtag Let's Frickin' Go is the second you regret re-signing Kirk Cousins and giving him $37.5 million. Let's frickin' go.
Yeah.
He said
that inspires nobody.
But
You're like,
also,
not even friggin', frickin'.
Tom Brady's already copyrighted "Let's Go," right? Has he not? So, so Cousins wants "Let's friggin' go."
No, frickin', which is
Frickin'.
way
It's
wider.
friggin'.
It's just
worse.
so much wider to me.
Yeah. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Mike, brace
Sorry,
yourself.
buddy.
What is it with you guys and the sound?
I am but a man.
That's the whole point.
I am but a man.
I'm but a man. Come on.
Who objects that way? Who objects? I am but a man. Like, you're in dialogue, writing dialogue for a 1770s duel.
That'd be on a T-shirt. Yeah.
Mike, I'm sorry. Jarvis Landry was released by the Cleveland Browns. Rest of the NFL, 96 catches for 368 yards. Could be all yours.
And a string of bad jokes, that might be the worst.
Straw man from Mike.
The LA, what happened there?
I just want
straw man.
You got straw man?
Oh, he's ready. Damn it. He's ready.
Yeah, he's but a man.
The LA Dodgers gave Clayton Kershaw 1 year, $17 million. As always, in Kershaw's mind, that money is for the regular season only. Because we all know what happens when the postseason rolls around. Thank you, Roy. Deshaun Watson, New Orleans Saints, collision course. Odd way for Tom Brady to lash out at the selection committee for not selecting the University of Michigan to the NCAA tournament. Frank Haith resigned as Tulsa's head coach after 8 seasons.
He was still doing it.
The news here is that Frank Haith agreed to the Tulsa job in the first place. The Golden Hurricanes. Guard play.
No, the Golden Hurricane.
Yeah, it's singular
whatever.
hurricane. Singular hurricane.
Yeah, Golden Hurricane.
Also, I believe he left the Missouri job to take the Tulsa job.
He took the Missouri job?
He was. I think it was like a quit before I got fired move.
That's stunner that Frank Haith is still bouncing around out there. No?
Apparently not anymore.
The worst coach I've ever experienced in person. Like as a coach of my team.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Wow.
You have the
Get it ready. Get it ready.
Put it
But a
together.
man.
You gotta put it together.
Okay, I think
He's
I got it.
sweating.
I think
I've
I
never
got
seen
it.
him sweat
But
before.
we're burying him with
I think I got
stuff.
it.
We can't travel
He's already
with
ready
the
with it.
sounds.
He's ready
You're
with
ready
it.
with it
The
right
audience
now.
doesn't get the show for sure.
Top 5 dumbest coaches that you've ever been around in person. Number 5, Whittingham.
Mike Keenan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Number 4.
Tony Sperano.
Let the
God rest
man
his soul.
rest.
Too soon, man.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Wow.
Number 3.
Randy Shannon.
That's a good list, man. Number 2.
Al Golden.
Defensive coordinator at Notre Dame.
This is a good list.
How about that?
It's a good list. And number 1.
Frank Haith.
I am just a man.
No disputes. No disputes. Well done.
The H in Haith stands for had no idea.
They're going to say, holy
Something
shit.
got in between of that,
I
right?
thought you were going to say, holy shit, he's still a coach.
Well, he's not. To the Irish pub I went to on Saturday night, I've had shepherd's pie hundreds of times, and every time I've had it, it's been delicious. Until I had yours. Do me a favor. Leave shepherd's pie alone. You turned it into cottage pie,
what was that?
and it was awful.
Wow.
You know what I like to say, Dan? Don't mess with a good thing. Top 5 pies.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Top 5. No, shepherd's pie is not going to be one of your top 5, is it?
3.14?
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is shepherd's pie among your top 5 pies at LeBatard Show?
Next thing you know, in this segment, I'm going to be asked to do a happy birthday from Stephen A. It's ridiculous.
It's on Pi Day. Did you mean to do that on Pi Day?
Number 5.
Wow,
No, you
today
didn't.
is Pie Day.
You had no idea. That is
So we
the
get free
genius-
pie?
That is the genius of Stugotz.
Yeah, he always wins.
Number 5.
Happy 74th birthday to Billy Crystal.
In your face.
A merging of everything. I love it.
Good luck.
He's
Give him a
just the
tumbo.
man.
Pecan pie. Number 4.
Good pie.
Moon pie.
What?
I love a good moon pie.
Love moon pies.
Number 3. Apple pie a la mode.
Oh, wow.
I just love the phrase
That's
a la
cheating,
mode.
though.
Yeah,
isn't
that
it?
is cheating.
That is cheating.
No,
No,
if you
it's
don't,
not.
if you don't like it without
there.
ice cream, it's
It's
not
my
on your
list.
list.
Would you like it without the
Right.
a la mode?
Dan's so right.
I would.
I don't know.
Then it's not a top pie for you.
Well,
needs
it
ice,
is.
It needs ice cream. It's not a
his
top pie.
list.
No, it's not.
It's my list. Make your own.
Okay.
Number 2. Pizza pie.
Man.
I really thought you were gonna go Felix Paye.
Good
I was thinking about it, but he wasn't good enough.
Good shout. Good shout.
And number 1. Shepherd's pie anywhere but Austin. LeBron James. 50 burger with a side of, it ain't my fault.
Did I do that?
After the 16th hole at the Waste Management Open and Amen Corner, the 17th hole at the Players Championship is the best hole in golf, the 5th major. I'm amazed that me and Billy know Tom Brady better than Tom Brady knows Tom Brady. To Dan and everyone at Meadowlark Media, apologies in advance for what I did to the mini bar. I crushed it. Kevin Durant, do it in the playoffs. What a moment. Thank you. What a moment.
What?
Seeing Tom Brady and Cristiano Ronaldo embrace each other. Fake face to fake face. Top 5 fake faces in sports.
Oh, here we go.
Wow, here we go.
Number
Woody
5.
just got mad. I saw him flash.
Wayne Newton.
That's a good start. That's
Not
a good
sports.
start.
It's not sports.
Not
yeah.
sports. It's okay.
If we do
though.
a
That's why
refrun
it's
del
number
dia, I'd
5.
be pissed.
Number
I hit it for no
4.
reason. I just hit it. I'm hitting the button. I'm not a man.
Number 4.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Good shout.
Number 3.
Sam Sosa. Sam.
Is he
No,
here?
he's not Sammy anymore.
What's that reaction?
He's still Sam.
Scared.
He's now Sam. He used to be Sammy. Now he's Sam. Number 2.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh-oh.
What?
I'm worried.
I know where you're going with this.
What are you worried about? Number 1. Jerry Jones.
Oh,
It worked.
A little birdie told me Andre Iguodala wasn't happy with my special way of promoting his new podcast, Point Forward, with former NBA star Evan Turner. Said something to the effect, what does he know about being a star?
Uh-oh.
He ain't even the star in his own radio show.
Oh.
It's the Dan LeBatard Show with Stugotz. Andre, couple of things.
Oh, God.
1, I am the star. 2, if anyone can relate to the with, it should be you.
No.
It was Steph,
No.
Clay,
No.
Draymond,
No.
with
No.
Andre Iguodala.
The MVP.
He was a Finals MVP.
I don't care.
He was a Finals MVP.
He doesn't get to the finals without those 3. Number 3,
He
I
got
love
to
a
the
little.
Finals without those 3, like the very next year with Miami.
I love a little birdie. I do.
He does. He does
Yeah.
love a little birdie. Tell him.
Andre with Godala. Withy. Death, taxes, and Nelson Cruz returning for another baseball
Is he
season.
really?
Where
What?
is he?
Welcome back.
43 years old?
Oh, I thought he was 74.
Is Brady? Brady's going to be 45 before the season starts, correct? Tom Brady turns 45. We're screwing with the science on some of this stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
we all saw the photo of Ken Stabler at 37 this morning.
The
Yeah.
snake.
take a look. Go ahead and Google it. Go ahead and Google Ken Stabler at 37 so you can see somebody who
So you can
looks
find your spirit animal.
the ravages of partying too much for the 70s Raiders.
Nelson Cruz is a Hall of Famer, right? He has to be.
He's pretty close.
Hall of Fame talk in Austin,
Pretty
Texas.
close.
Tom Brady's business will never be finished. I live in the Southeast. I hopped on a bird and flew 3 hours west. How the hell am I still in the Southeast, according to college football's conference realignment? Some bullshit, man.
It is. Yes, SEC country.
Speaking of hell,
Ah, nice.
Art Briles. Audience, do it with me.
Kenny Stabler. I'm looking at Ken. This can't be him at 37.
It's stunning. It's
This
him
is
at
not.
37
That's it.
years
Looks
old.
like he's
Yeah, it's him.
68 years
It's
old.
the most stunning photograph you will see
It's like
today.
Greg Cody.
He looks like Kenny Rogers now.
Oh, my God.
3, 2, 1. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
Baron
Very
Davis
good. Very
next.
good. Very good.
You're on Twitter Spaces
I'm
while
on
we're on
Twitter
the show.
Spaces.
Lewis.
He's bringing his audience to our audience right now.
Yeah, that's what Dan and I talked about it behind stage, and we do this together. And we always got my man.
You're a
Stooge
co-host
here
on our
to-
show,
Yeah,
so.
I am.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I'm on the app.
Is that as much a surprise to you as it is to us that you show up on Apple as a host?
He doesn't want to speak to you. I think he wants to speak directly to Roy.
Oh.
Yeah, we only. First
Okay.
question is always the brother. Brother,
All right.
go ahead.
You're
Can
my
you
brother.
translate that?
Have we started yet?
You just, but Mike did have a question.
No, it's all for content. It's all for content.
It's all for content. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No,
Mike.
no.
Go ahead, Mike.
Good.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm
Don't
all
be-
right.
Don't be mad at
We're
me.
should
good.
do him a
No, I'm not
again.
mad.
Matt, come
Just,
on, Mike.
I thought the host of the show would treat me better.
Stooge, why did you set me up? You told me to do that.
I'm sorry, Bear. But I'm not.
Hello, everyone out there. This is a cool crowd. What's happening? Let's go. The energy is here. The legend.
Who do you have there? Who do you have?
I have the Bro Token. So the Bro Token, over the last month, donated $50,000 to mental health. So I joined the spaces with them to continue to promote what they're doing, because they're actually like helping people and helping this, fight towards mental health and people getting access to
We'll talk to
care.
you about that. I look forward to talking to you about that. You can help people understand a little bit more. I hugged Barron when he came in, Stugotz, and he's still made of granite. So I imagine that he is marveling at Tom Brady the same way that we are, that at 45 years old that he can still do this. But I really don't think people that understand the professional sports workplace, how much of a challenge it alone is on mental health, period. Just performing in front of 20,000 people a night when your body doesn't feel up to it and you're tired because you've been traveling all season and God knows what other issues there are.
It's a drain, right? It's not just physical, right? It's a mental drain because let's say you do have a bad game, right? Then you have to do press. Then you have to do interviews. And let's say you had a bad game because you were hurt. Now you got to get on the plane. And a lot of it, for us is, as athletes, it's like you're a gladiator still, right? So people look at you as, the product. And you think of yourself, but you don't think of yourself as a product. You think of yourself as the performer, right? So as much as we want to perform and entertain, we do have normal lives, right? We do have, normal people problems. Like everybody's normal. It's just we have to block out so much, right, to be able to execute the information and the game plan. You look at somebody like Tom Brady on the level that he is, like a lot of these dudes can't go out in public. You know what I mean? A lot of these dudes are like, they can't live normal lives, but let alone, they're trying to be as normal as they possibly can to their family, to their kids. And so when you start thinking through all of those little portals and like trying to fix all these little problems in your life to make sure you can perform, that is what's draining.
What do you say to people, Barron, that say, hey, I'll sign up for Tom Brady's life right now. I don't care that he can't go out in public. I will sign up for that life right now.
They wouldn't be able to make it. You wouldn't be Tom Brady.
Right.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't be Tom Brady. You would get cut, because you wouldn't be able to endure it. It takes a certain type of person, a certain type of machine, a certain type of, like I say, like a robot mentality, right? Like, for Tom Brady to perform at that level, right? To block out all the people, all the hate, and to still be able to, at 45 years old, go out there and put his body, in the moment, right? And you got 26-year-old, 350-pound, 280-pound dudes trying to knock, they're trying to end your career. You know what I mean? And so, you have to go in there with that too, thinking about protecting yourself. So, a lot of people that say that they want to trade that life, they wouldn't be able to handle it.
I appreciate your advocacy here. We've been talking a little bit on the show today about how a fan has to reconcile with Deshaun Watson coming to your team with those allegations. I'm a Chelsea supporter. I have to reconcile with the owner being a Russian oligarch. You lived it with an owner that you had a very complicated relationship with, Donald Sterling. How'd you reconcile, like, I'm taking paychecks here, but this is a bad dude?
Yeah, it was hard. There was no way to reconcile it. You know what I mean? I felt like if I could have given the money back and been on another team, if they would have gave me that option, I would have did that. And so for me, I think it became something that I struggled with every time I had to go on the court, right? Because if I'm in layup lines and he walks in the arena, if we win, he win. Mm-hmm. If he win, he come in the locker room. If he feel good, then he don't see nothing wrong. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not losing, and I'm not a loser. I can't lose to, my contemporaries. And so now you playing in the game, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, who are you playing for?
Yeah.
Right? And so, that's tough too.
Oh, but it's worse. But it's worse than that, because this was especially dehumanizing, because in the Elgin Baylor lawsuit, Donald Sterling is bringing people into the locker room and in the shower. Look at these beautiful black bodies, and the reports were. Now, I don't know what kind of state you were in mentally. Your body, I don't know physically where you were, because you were a star of the highest order,
right?
An athlete, explosive, and then your body doesn't work quite the way that you want, and your owner is heckling you, correct?
Yeah. No, I was actually not supposed to come back. I broke my finger, right? So I was supposed to be out the first 3 weeks of the season. I played the first game because I was like, yo, we're going to suck and I need to get out there. But having the owner heckle you, they didn't, and it was like, it was some weird. One day, man, we gonna write about it.
I know. I've asked you before, and you're hesitant about it because I know you don't want to get aggregated, and then people will make headlines about it. But I just came out of a conference that Ricky Williams was doing on cannabis and mental health, and the stigmatization that comes. That is now being reduced, but I imagine that in the environment of how hard sports is, and none of us can possibly understand the daily training and mental toughness that it takes to be who you were, to feel weakened by lack of ownership support, by the soul selling that you must have felt. I can't get out of this contract. My owner's allowed to heckle me. I am top 1% of anything I've ever. I'm top 1% of the top 1%, and this slumlord gets to just say whatever he wants to me because he owns the team.
Yep. You know how bad I wanted to throw the basketball at his face, dribbling the ball up the court, like for real. I just wanted to take the ball and throw it in his face. You know what I mean? But
you actually thought about that in the moment?
Every time, bro.
Every time up the court.
Yeah, every time. It was like, if I can get one of my teammates to throw the ball out of bounds and I can dive and clothesline him, like I shouldn't be thinking about this playing basketball. You know
it's hard enough. It's hard enough. But no, imagine working for someone that you don't respect, and that has because of the system, it has an ownership over you, no matter how rich you are.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are.
And a person who has no respect for no one. You know what I mean? So there's not someone he respects. He respects no one. He likes no one. You know what I mean? And I always try to clear up when people say, oh, Donald Sterling was racist. He was racist. I say he was a hate everybody is. You know what I mean? He was a delusional hate everybody. He was not trying to respect anything or anyone. And how do you relate to someone like that who nobody can hold him accountable? Not even the league, but shout out to the league for, getting rid of him and getting him out, because that was kind of like this toxic kind of overlord system of like, hey, you're going to play hurt, or you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And when you start thinking about it, not everybody is Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Not every team and system is the New England Patriots. You know what I mean? And so the majority of athletes, right, go through a lot of stuff.
But would you say that Donald Sterling treated you and the other black players on the team as property?
The whole team was property. Like the whole team was property. I think what he was just dumb as hell. He was stupid. You know what I mean? He was like, seriously, he was just like an idiot. You know what I mean? And it didn't matter who you were. Guy or girl, black or white, Asian, Hispanic, like he was going to offend you. You know what I mean? His job was to offend you. And so like the whole property thing, like I didn't feel like I ain't nobody's property, you know what I mean? But I felt like a lot of players who did not have what I had inside and was groomed for a situation like this, they had to sit down and shut up. And when you think about the next year and when it actually blew up, like those guys had an opportunity to boycott the game and really stand on something, but they ain't been through nothing. You know what I mean? They was kind of just, and I commend them, they were blocking it out and playing. I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Because I knew that something wasn't right.
But that will be enough. That will affect your mental health. I will say it again. Baron Davis, at the height of his powers, is one of the best basketball players in the world at the time. It's very difficult to get to where it is that you got. And if you're a thinker, as you are, you're here because you're a creative. You're here at South by Southwest because you enjoy brand ownership. You enjoy the empowerment that comes from now you can own your own shit and you can create with others who are like-minded, not working for others. I imagine that you've enjoyed the age of player empowerment in basketball, even as people say that it's getting ruined because the players are getting too much power and the Nets are now a team of trolls that can win the championship. You must love the players having the power, especially given your experience.
Absolutely. I think, and it's more so like you think about it, it's more so like a partnership, right? Players have finally figured out that, we have the right. Like, I didn't know that I can say, you know what, I'm done. Get me out of here. And, I didn't know I could behave like the players do now. You know what I mean? I'd be like, yo, I ain't playing. He racist. Y'all do something about it. You know what I mean?
You did not know.
I did not.
You did not
know.
You
There
could
was
exert anything.
there was none of that. There was like, it was a struggle to like, because you still got to serve your teammates, right? And so it wasn't like a Ben Simmons situation. You know what I mean? It was like, nobody could say anything, and so the players today, it's like I commend them for speaking out, right? Because if they don't start speaking out, then it's just shut up and dribble, you know what I mean? And so people are not shutting up and dribbling. They're investing. They're building their community. We're talking about it. We're being influenced by shows like this and entrepreneurs in these communities. And you look around South by Southwest, you got a lot of people and a lot of athletes on cap tables, inspiring entrepreneurs, things like that. And so, like, no way do we want, the people we look at, to shut up. We want them to continue to pioneer because they're actually going through so much, right? And there's so much responsibility placed on them that if we do say something wrong, right? If we are misquoted, right, then the weight of the world falls on your shoulders. So, I think it's a grand opportunity for just kind of building more cohesive community between the fans, between the players, between entrepreneurs, and the content creators, and the media, so having our own media makes sense.
Enough of these softballs. Barbecue food, overrated. You agree?
Barbecue?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, barbecue where?
I'm saying barbecue in general. Like, if you're getting the elite of barbecue food, Italian food, Cuban food, Asian food, where do you rank barbecue in this world?
Don't fall into this trap.
It's towards the bottom, right? I'm not. I enjoy good barbecue, but if I'm ranking it against the other genres, it's overrated.
Don't fall into this trap.
Nah, barbecue got to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a little fence sitting. Top
For
5
sure.
is it?
That's my brother right there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, come on. Barbecue got to be in the top 5.
Let's go.
Pizza, I would say, would be overrated.
Pizza?
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Shocking commentary.
Like how gourmet, like the more gourmet a pizza is, the nastier it is. You know what I mean?
Put it on the poll, Guillermo.
2 of my top 5 pies.
Is pizza overrated? At LeBatard Show. Can you tell me, Baron, what it is? You were talking about Barry Bonds earlier. I was surprised that you were taking up a cause for Barry Bonds. What is it that you're doing?
Yeah, so right now we're building a project called History of the Game for basketball, and it's decentralizing the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is in Springfield, Massachusetts, and the media and a certain committee of people get to dictate like who was great and who's not. And so for me, for us, and for a lot of the other players, it was like Penny Hardaway, Nick Van Exel. You know what I mean? All of these players we love. Sean Kemp. We let the media have the story, and we've been letting the media drive the narrative.
Right.
And so it's time for the players to induct players and the players to tell their truth, to tell their story. But also, like, these dudes were so cold, right? Penny Hardaway was so cold. It shouldn't even be a question if he's a Hall of Famer, right? Because, I grew up off so many guys pattern their game. And so, for us, it's like thinking about not just the hoop and the accolades, but also the pioneers to culture, the people who've been left out, who've done stuff that never got their roses, and the sneaker community, right? The entrepreneur community, the people that have built, video games and things of that nature, the brands that, have showed up for athletes to do cool content. And so we wanted to build a museum right, in the metaverse and have NFTs represent that, right, and represent the storytelling and the history of basketball, as told and authenticated through the players. And so when I was talking to you about, Barry Bonds, it's like history of the game of basketball resonates the same as history of the game of baseball, right? So you have these players that, no matter what they did, they crushed it, right? So they crushed it on the court, on the field, right? And they still deserve an opportunity, right? Because somebody, right, especially their peers, don't think of them the way the media portrays them.
You spit media. When you say it, you spit it. Did you have, because I remember you having a good relationship with the media. I remember that you were somebody, I thought that the media treated, I didn't think of it as a contentious relationship.
Yeah. When I say media, it's like I'll watch a documentary of a player, and when a lot of reporters are talking, like the Dennis Rodman documentary, I think they missed the whole point. Mm-hmm. Dennis Rodman was a rock star. The whole documentary should have been about Dennis Rodman being the first real rock star in the NBA, the first real brand that was damn near bigger than Michael Jordan, right? And his game, right? But the media somehow tells the same narrative. You know what I mean? And there's players who admire Dennis Rodman. There's younger players that didn't really know his game. And so for the picture you're painting and the reporters that are piping into the story, they're just telling the story of, oh, he went to Vegas, or he was this, or he was that. But they're not really appreciating his greatness. So I like to see more players in documentaries talking about Dennis Rodman, how difficult, it was to score against him or keep him off the boards. Right, even in for Michael Jordan, like a Michael Jordan documentary, it should be other players. Do they like him? Do they hate him? I'd rather hear from them than the media.
I admire you taking ownership of your power and your platform. I wish that we had given you the wisdom 10 or 12 years ago that you have now, so that you could have been an instigator on this front, because you're ready to be it now, but there were a lot of confinements. Thank you for being a host of the show.
Thank you,
Aaron Davis.
Thank you.
We were slalom coursing earlier between all the moral dilemmas that sports fans face and Americans face, and we are fortunate that here in Austin, Jessica Luther is basically the foremost authority on some of the stuff that we were stumbling around on around Deshaun Watson. She's written books investigating thoroughly, journalistically sound reporting that is exhaustive and vetted, and helped expose the Baylor program that sent Art Briles to hell, according to Stugotz, because of all of the malfeasance there. So we want to welcome in Jessica. She's written for the LA Times and USA Today and Sports Illustrated. And I urge you, if you want to learn about fair, objective journalism that is also activism, I recommend that you read her work, because she committed herself to something that is a draining cause, as we've talked to you about before. But the Deshaun Watson story, as you have seen it unfold over the last, 20 months.
Yeah.
I've talked to so many women who are made just deeply uncomfortable by just how the reported media is around this, how quick even our show is to get to the transaction of, will he help my team, bypassing some of the allegations. So welcome to the show, as I thrust you again into the position of being a social commentator symbolically, but you've experienced the Deshaun Watson coverage and everything around him over the last 20 months. How?
Sure. I think it's complicated and difficult. There are 22 lawsuits, but I think there's even 23. Ginny Ventris, when she was at SI, talked to a woman who hasn't put a lawsuit in. That is a lot of women, and I think it's been very hard since, it was hard before Friday, as we were going into the grand jury. Once we knew that we were going to have one, sports media immediately was like, well, if he's not charged, then transactions, right? Like, where's he going to go? What's going to happen? And as soon as the grand jury came down with the no bill, it was immediately like, what team is he going to? And all I can think about is the 23 women, and that just makes me really sad.
And how are we supposed to move forward once the NFL gets into the legislating of these things that are criminal trials, civil trials? Once Roger Goodell gets to be the commissioner with the impeccable reputation because he's the punisher of bad behavior. And in this case, Deshaun Watson has these accusations circling around him, but he's not on an exempt list, and I don't even know what ended up happening that ends up with him, the franchise quarterback, just sitting the season on the sidelines because Houston and the NFL made whatever deal needed to be made to just put that problem over there, and hopefully people won't notice it.
Yeah, well, sorry to say this, but like the Texans probably weren't worried about their season if they had him or not. And I think one of the things that's hard about this, Dan, is like you're basically asking me to choose between two shit systems. Like, am I going to look to the criminal system? Am I going to look to the NFL? Like, who's going to decide what the right thing is here? And like, I'm not going to trust either one to do the right thing. And I'm sorry, like, I'm not going to be able to, like, I can't pick one of those. I think that's one of the sad things about our society in general, is that there is not a system to which we can look to really be the arbiter of whether or not harm has happened. And so it's left to the individual to decide like how they themselves feel about this. And that makes us all feel bad. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit up here and like absolve all of us from feeling bad. Like, you should probably feel bad. And that's just like the reality of how this works.
The Baylor book that I am speaking of, you took how long with that? How much time did the reporting on that book? Keep in mind, Baylor was a nowhere program. I think I have the history right on this. A nowhere program that sold its soul with a basketball coach who was, there were allegations of a player being murdered. Dave Bliss left in disgrace. And then Art Briles made an assortment of compromises in order to make Baylor football matter and traffic in commerce. How did you get to the story of Baylor football, and what is it that you uncovered that helped that would help these people understand what kind of compromises were being made to get good at football?
Sure. So I'll just clarify. I did write a book on college football and sexual assault that's not on Baylor. I actually wrote it before Baylor, like just to tell you that Baylor is not the only issue out there. I do want to shout out my co-author on all of my Baylor stuff, Dan Solomon from Texas Monthly, who's standing right there. So in August, I mean, it was August 5th, 2015, I got a tip that a Baylor football player was going to go to trial for sexual assault, and literally no one had reported it. And that was very true. And it was Dan who found the guy's name on the court docket that showed that there was actually going to be a trial. We drove to Waco that day. The district attorney wasn't concerned about the media. Normally they'll shut those cases, they'll seal them if the media's buzzing around, and there wasn't any media, so there was a huge file just sitting at the clerk's office, and we reported the hell out of it. I mean, it was 2 really super intense weeks, and then it went to trial, and Dan and I went up to Waco, and we reported on August 20th, 2015, and it was, that was a single story. It was about one player, but 2 players. There had been a player convicted of sexual assault before that, and then over the next, year, I guess, not even, there was a great reporting out of ESPN, Paula Levine, and yeah, Art Briles brought a lot of guys to his program who had questionable pasts, and I think part of the issue is like, what did he do for them when they got there, including the player that we reported on in August of 2015. He had come from Boise State, and that was a huge part, like that he had been violent when he was there, mainly towards himself, but they were really concerned about what he might do to other people. No clue what anyone did for him when he got to Baylor. They were making choices about being a good football team that didn't seem to have anything to do with what was good for the players or what was good for the larger campus community.
If it were up to you, just back to Deshaun Watson for a second, if it's up to you, what would you change about how the NFL handles these situations?
What would I change about how the NFL handles? I mean, I think how I always feel about it is that there's very little transparency. I mean, the NFL is so famous. We could talk about the Washington NFL team and how they just can't release the report. There is no written report, which is a total Baylor move on the Washington NFL teams. I just feel like we don't understand a lot of what actually goes into how they make these decisions, why they're making them. And I'm just constantly, and this is true on the college level too, it's I just want to understand better why. And part of me is if you're just doing it so you can fucking win football games, and just tell us that too, that would make me at least feel better that I'm not crazy.
How does this work though? Because you are there a lot of people reporting this? Because does the LSU stuff get reported if you and a couple of people aren't interested in looking in some of the dark crevices, or do we never find out about any Ed Orgeron stuff or any of that is pretty readily available because resources aren't being put into reporting what is happening at the football level where the compromises are soul selling?
Yeah, I think yes, I think it does take reporters who are just relentless in lots of ways. I know that that LSU story was around. People knew pieces of it before Kenny Jacoby and Nancy Armour published at USA Today, and then I came on the team to help them continue that. It takes a kind of relentlessness that a lot of people don't want to do. They don't want to take the care, they don't want to take the time, or they don't have the resources. Like sometimes I'm a freelance journalist, I don't have an institutional support behind me. Working with USA Today was amazing for me as a freelancer because LSU, we were trying to get a report about Les Miles, and LSU had promised him that they would go to court over it, and so USA Today sued them, and I was like, oh, you can sue. I'm like, oh, this is great. And we won, and that's how we all know about it. So I do think part of it is it's hard work and finding people who have the time. Like it can take years to get to the bottom of this stuff, and you have to not only want to see that through, but be able to financially and emotionally do that work.
Who is supporting it well? Because like I said, these are exhaustive projects you're partaking in, and you have dedicated your career to this. This is something, forgive me on the error on the book, because you did cover and chronicle the entirety of college football. It wasn't just Baylor. Baylor's just sort of an ancillary thing. My guess is if I unleashed Jessica on just about any market with resources, Jessica would find a whole lot of things that aren't being searched for by the reporters who around the program need the access, get compromised by some of the things that require really hard journalistic reporting legwork.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I mainly do college sports, college football, and I think that's an exploitative system in and of itself. So yeah, if you're going to go dig, you're going to find someone making bad decisions within a system that encourages them to make bad decisions. I do think, there are places doing good work. USA Today has Jenny Jacoby on staff. I think he's a phenomenal young reporter, and they seem to support him. He just got some guy in California fired, or the guy resigned. And I've done work with John Wertheim at Sports Illustrated. Dan and I just published a piece over at Texas Monthly. So there are definitely outlets that give you that support. But yeah, I do kind of bounce around to try to find where I fit best and where I can get that from.
Well, thank you for doing the work you do. It's important. Chris Cody, you want to lighten this up a little bit by trying the question that you've been looking for an ally on all across Boston?
You're not going to find it in me.
I'm not saying that it's bad. You just prefer it's like one of your top three of all the genres of food.
I just feel like maybe you don't live in the right place where you get to consume the very best.
That's fair.
We circle back to you may be wrong.
Maybe I'm wrong.
You may
No, absolutely wrong, actually.
Stay strong, Chris. It's your opinion, man.
Stay strong. Jessica, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Looks Like tournament. We are too late to the Looks Like tournament. We've got some updates to make here. Look how happy Jessica is. This is voiced by Adam McKay. And we have some teams and some face-offs now to go to. We also have funniest thing from the sports weekend to go to before we get out of here for the day. And Stugotz is telling Jessica that he wants her to babysit his 20-year-old kids, and Stugotz has announced that he's a daddy or a zaddy.
Do you not remember that last night?
No, I do remember it. I'm not certain about the daddy or zaddy thing. I'm not certain where we left that, but I do remember asking Jess to babysit my children.
This is weird.
Who are going to college in 3 months.
No, this is what happened. Stugotz awkwardly didn't know how to compliment me. So he tried to compliment me by asking me to be his child's babysitter. Like that was how he didn't know how to.
I was saying I would trust my children with you.
Ultimate compliment.
Right.
That's all.
But then I was like,
She hates kids. Why would you do that?
She's
very, very public
But
about
they're
it.
not- these are not-
they're not kids. They're
They're
like
not
my age.
kids.
They're closer
They're
to
not
my age than I am to
kids.
Stugotz's age.
Billy,
Like we would
what's
be
the matter,
friends
Billy?
if we knew each other.
Billy, why are you making faces back there that Mike can see in his mirror?
This is weird. I feel like now we're all, because you share this with all of us, we're all complicit, and I don't like this. I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
It was better than the daddy zaddy
Well,
conversation.
what was that?
How did that go?
What was
Yeah.
happening there?
Lewis instigated that one also.
Yeah.
He said that Stugotz is not a daddy, but he might be a zaddy.
I'm with Lewis on that.
We should ask the audience. Is Stugotz a zaddy?
Yeah, what do you think? Stugotz, Zaddy?
No.
Thumbs up?
Wow.
Daddy!
Rate-
Thumbs up.
Total
Thumbs
silence
up.
from the crowd.
What the hell's the matter with all of you? Go spend time with our Brian.
Wow.
Old
Chris,
fan down.
round of applause. This is an audio medium.
Chris has been, by the way, really good. I've noticed at like if you had like a late night talk show or whatever type of talk show, like Chris is great at being the person that instigates the applause on behalf of the guy. Like because he'll turn at the crowd and be like, and then they all start clapping whenever there's a guest or
hype
whatever.
guy.
The warm-up comedian.
He's great.
Meadowlark has a need for one of those. Chris has been shopping. What was it? Was it a documentary idea for Meadowlark?
Oh, well, this is more of the group. I don't want to take sole credit for this.
That
We've
was
had-
also Lewis's idea.
This has been a good trip for us because we get to bond after hours. And one of the things we've come up with, that Meadowlark is getting into the documentary game, and we want to have a little lane in that's called a Meadowlark investigation, where we only investigate things in Meadowlark. And the first one, our first, person we want to go after is Howard Bryant, because we're just not buying this whole hamstring thing that he claims. Howard Bryant, for people that don't know, claims to have pulled both of his hamstrings at the same exact time. When we questioned him on it, he said it happened getting out of bed. We're not buying it. We want a Meadowlark investigation.
It's impossible.
And we'll handle it for you.
I'm not sure it has a great deal of range with a demo.
I'm just saying,
for an entire
Dan,
documentary.
Please, someone at Meadowlark, Eve, she told us $5 million they're going to give us to develop this idea.
That's right.
It's already done.
Everybody
We
was
shook on it
drinking
over
too
barbecue.
much.
I'm in.
Number 16. This is a strong tournament when you've arrived in a place where the play-in game has Texas A&M Corpus Christi represented by
Nick Nurse looks like the shoe salesman who chases you out of the store because you left your old shoes behind. And when you tell him to just throw them out, he breaks down in tears and tells you his wife just left him.
That is a strong 16,
That's
man.
a play-in game. Texas A&M Corpus Christi is playing against Texas Southern, which is represented by
Blake Snell looks like the mechanic staring back at you through the plexiglass window as you sit in the lobby of a Jiffy Lube.
You guys knew what that Tampa Bay Rays pitcher looked like. My guess is
If he were more
Houston,
famous, he'd be a 3-seed.
It used to be. Is he still with Tampa? I don't
think
know.
he's a Dodger now.
I think it's a
Padres.
Padres.
Yeah.
Padres.
We
Number,
watch baseball.
who's it a fine for? You or me? Because you
Both
got
of
the
us.
wrong team
For
too.
somebody.
You cover it, though. I'll pay you back.
Jacksonville
The
State.
Friars.
Number 15 is represented by
Pete Carroll looks like the over-enthusiastic stepfather desperately wanting to toss a football in the backyard with his new 35-year-old stepson, Dan Orlovsky.
number 2. That's facing number 2. The Orlovsky Conference is loaded.
Dan Orlovsky looks like a youth pastor.
That's it.
Yes.
Good one. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's great.
Number 14, Colgate, represented by
Adam Silver looks like 7 out of 10 dentists recommend you brush with him.
You got your
The Raiders.
Your favorite. Wisconsin's a 3 seed. Stugotz.
The Badgers. Hey, it's terrible. No one wants to see Wisconsin in the Final Four. All they do is ruin college basketball, ruin college football, ruin Final Fours, ruin championship games. No one wants to see the Badgers in a Final Four, but don't be surprised if they find themselves in the Elite Eights. Good guard play.
Wisconsin represented by
Arthur Blank looks like the mayor and the arch villain in a DC comic movie.
That's excellent, man. Wow.
both.
True.
Number 13, South Dakota State, represented by
Ben McAdoo looks like the guy who shows up in blue scrubs with a wheelchair to take Ma to Shady Pines. You think about it, so does Bob McAdoo.
It's a great show.
He's good at this.
Yeah, he's
Great
pretty
show.
good at it. But these are our listeners. He's just reading them. Providence, number 4 seed, is facing South Dakota State, represented by
Joe Burrow looks like the mafia boss's son who designs a terrible line of T-shirts, and everyone wears them because they're afraid his dad will shoot them in the kneecap.
number 12 Richmond, represented by
Duncan Robinson looks like the acoustic guitarist for his local church's youth group band.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. That's great right there. That's good.
Orlovsky's church.
Wow.
facing number 5 Iowa, which is represented by
Aaron Rodgers looks like Nicolas Cage playing Aaron Rodgers in a movie about Tom Brady.
Iowa State, the 11 seed, represented by
Andrew Luck looks like he would show up to the bank robbery wearing his clear COVID face shield because he couldn't find his face mask at home.
This one's got an upset alert on it. LSU might go deep in this tournament, represented by
Adam Silver looks like E.T.'s finger.
Miami, a 10 seed. What's Colin Cowherd saying? He's predicting that USC and Miami are going to play in the national championship 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Because
three years from now or 15 years ago.
what's he doing there? He's just trying to.
He's
doing the big market thing.
Big market.
Big market, yeah.
College football is better when USC and Miami matter.
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm enjoying some Austin barbecue right now.
That's right. That's right. They actually call that a slider. You see how big this sandwich is?
It looks pretty good.
It does look good.
Miami, number 10, is represented by
Lovie Smith looks like he has saved no fewer than 4 children from being trapped in the bottom of wells.
Wow.
He's a hero. Facing number 7, USC.
Jimbo Fisher looks like the small town deputy in a speed trap who sees a spaceship shoot by and, rather than pursue it, radios dispatch asking if anyone else had a bad reaction to the crab salad.
I like crab salad, but sure.
Number 9, Creighton, represented by
Tim Kirchin looks like your aunt's third husband, Gary.
That was good.
San Diego State's an 8 seed, represented by
Oh, wait, hold on. I have Sia Gary. I didn't think I was going to need it. I got to play Sia Gary.
let's
Hold
see.
on.
Let's try it again then. All right, we'll try it again. You got Sia Gary. Creighton is.
I didn't bring Sia Gary for no reason.
All right, go ahead and play it. Tim Kirchin looks like your aunt's third husband, Gary.
Sia Gary.
There you go.
Excellent. Sandy, I didn't bring it for no reason.
You have to go back to do that.
What a man.
You got the hammer. You got to use it.
San Diego State is represented by
Andy Reid looks like a trucker who goes to Vegas only to eat Clams Casino.
Dan, you skipped the 1 seed.
I know. I'm getting to the 1 seed right now with the big reveal. Here
I
it
love
is.
Clams Casino,
Here
by the
it
way.
is.
You
Put it on the
bacon.
poll,
Oh.
Guillermo. Do you love Clams Casino?
What makes Clams Casino? I don't know.
Little bacon on top, some breadcrumbs, delicious.
Yeah.
And the fig.
Yep.
The number 1 seed in the Midwest region is
Jimmy Johnson looks like a satirical French magazine's cartoon drawing of an American.
Are you guys ready to do funniest thing from the sports weekend? Is everyone ready to do this?
Barely.
Billy, how you doing there?
Hey, people. Tell us what in the sport made
bite?
you laugh hardest this weekend.
Delicious.
It is a segment we call What
No
Made You
one
Laugh
does
This
barbecue
Weekend.
like Austin.
Funniest thing from the sports weekend is presented by our friends at CBD MD.
Chris Cody, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
The start of the Grizzlies Thunder game was delayed because both teams came out wearing the white jerseys. They were both wearing white jerseys, and they looked at each other like, one of us needs to go change, and the game was delayed.
They both ran out that way. Billy, what
Wasn't that funny?
Billy, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
I brought in Tony to help me with this because we have a co-funniest thing of the sports weekend. We've been executing a bit of a long con for a day or so now. Yesterday there was a man that was here with 2 dogs on a leash, and we convinced Jessica that it was Steven Spielberg.
Oh my God! You
Oh my
bastards.
God! What?
And we told her Steven Spielberg was here today. Did you see him? He had the dogs. She's like, I saw the dogs. That was him. We're like, yeah, that was him. You didn't see him. You're just focusing on the dogs. And for 2 days, she's been going around telling people, did you see Steven Spielberg was here the other day?
I would expect that from everyone. I don't know why I didn't expect it from you, Billy. I thought we were better than that. I thought we were closer than that.
You told me 40 minutes ago Steven Spielberg was here.
It's film weekend at South by Southwest. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend were here. I saw Adrian Grenier at Terry Black's last night.
my
That's
guy.
not that far-fetched.
Steven Spielberg was here yesterday.
I gave you my thoughts on West Side Story.
Roy, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
That poor guy who spent over $500,000 on Tom Brady's quote-unquote last touchdown pass.
Sucker.
De Bingao.
Yeah.
De Bingao.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Whittingham, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Kirk Cousins' contract extension.
Oh, what are we doing there? What are we doing there? What are we doing there?
Wow, he's good.
You want to defend
Ish.
Kirk Cousins?
Dan, yeah, I'm tired of the Kirk Cousins slander. Okay, I'm going to use this kind of
Why
as like
Why are you exploring the space on the stage?
It's like a TED Talk kind of. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Austin. Welcome to South by Southwest. I'm kind of doing this thing like a stand-up comic. I always like when they do that.
Unfurling the cable.
See how far you can go with
stand-up
it.
comedy.
He's just going to wander the premises
Go around and see how far you
so
can
listen.
defending Kirk Cousins?
Here's my problem with the slander of Kirk Cousins. Billy, come with me. Yeah, thank
Billy's
you.
gripping right now.
Here's the problem. What's going on, everybody? Yeah.
guys are out
So
of
here's the
control.
problem with Kirk Cousins, right?
Gripping
The
it.
slander is ridiculous. 59, 2. He's had $230 some odd million.
Where is he?
And
is
let
he
me
out
tell you
there?
what.
Take
He's
him
an
to the
awesome
river.
quarterback.
He's
He's
quickly
climbing up my
Spielberg out
ranks
there.
of guys that I'd like to have in the last 2 minutes. What do you think?
Tony, you're out of cable.
Thank you, Tony.
Oh,
we appreciate
Kirk Cousins.
He can't hear us
Oh, yeah.
either.
A
Okay, all right,
random, Thank you, Billy, for all your anarchy this week.
I'm
We
here
appreciate
for it.
You
it.
guys,
Unbelievable.
Billy, do you have any idea how to over under the cable back again?
Can they not hear me? Can they
Classic,
not hear me? Can they hear me
classic
now?
XLR cable
These
staple.
guys, yeah.
Yep.
Pros Pro back there.
There was simply no reason for you to wander into the crowd with your Kirk
The crowd
Cousins
loved it, didn't you?
opinions.
You loved it.
Billy is in
Did
rare
they?
form this week.
Mike, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Well, I should say I've been laughing all weekend at our March Sadness tournament brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. That's a sponsor. We should remember to take care of
failed to
them.
do that.
They're, I'm sure you guys didn't watch NYCFC's championship celebration at Yankee Stadium, but the unfurling of a very sad banner. It was
How
very
small
far
wa-
away from the pitch.
How small was that?
It
what
was
kind
like
of
4 by
championship-
4.
What kind of championship banner is that?
It was the most ridiculous championship celebration. But again, I've been laughing all weekend at March Sadness, presented by 5 Hour Energy.
Jessica, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
The Steelers signing Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, you admit it.
I'm glad you can admit that.
Going
That's
from
good.
my Bears to my Steelers. I can't. He won't leave my side, Dan. I'll be watching Mitch Trubisky throw incomplete out passes for the rest of my life.
You deserve it as someone who's a fan of multiple teams in football to have him
I sure
quarterback both of the
do.
teams.
And I'll pick more teams if you guys don't watch out. I'll pick another. Should I be a Cowboys fan?
His nickname is Mr. Biscuit.
Mr. What?
Who said Mr. Biscuit?
What?
The internet.
Mr. Biscuit.
You're trying to fool her again.
No, it's here.
I think he's right, actually.
Yeah, see it.
No, I think
I
he's right.
believe Billy. Billy's
Well,
never lied to me before.
Stugotz is the expert on these things.
I know, but I'm not aware, but I think Billy is right. I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet.
Stugotz, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Dan thinking that Tom Brady was actually retired.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
That's true.
And I told you so for everybody. I will not say what was funniest, but this was a great deal of fun doing this with you, taking the swing. We appreciate that.
Mention how good the barbecue is. They love that.
Can we get a wave going? I wanted to get the crowd to do a wave this entire time. We're
Take
about
the microphone
out of
Get
here.
it going.
Start
Do it.
Yeah, go out there and get it going.
Grab the
Yeah.
microphone and then
Yeah.
run across, and then
The
they'll
guy
know
who
where they have
starts
to
the
go.
wave
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
worst person.
Don't run out
Alright,
of the
here we
room,
go.
man.
Why are
Oh my God.
Don't
all
trip.
Chris's
All right.
ideas bad for
All right, we're gonna
audio?
start it over here.
This is
and we're gonna
great.
work
Worst
away.
audio
You got to be
ever.
careful
Everybody in the
with
back,
the wire.
let's
Yeah.
go. We're gonna
Do
do the
not
wave.
trip.
Make a noise while you do it, just so we can get some audio
This
payoff.
is
too.
we need
Yeah.
audio.
Yeah.
We
I'm
need
talking. aren't I?
audio.
Yeah, he's
they're
talking.
gonna make noise. Yeah, they're gonna do that. They
So
know
we're
that.
going to end. Wait, just so. Hold on a second, Chris, before we get out of here, because we want to thank a lot of people who helped us here at Meadowlark do something, leaving ESPN to create this thing that can now go across the country. This has been a very hard effort. Thank you to Alex Tyner. Thank you to Hildy. Thank you to Bimmel and Laura and Lindsay and John Skipper and Eve. Am I forgetting anybody?
Yes, Dan, you're forgetting our proud partners over at DraftKings. We are celebrating our DraftKings partnership with some promo bets for March Madness. On Friday, I've got a single game parlay featuring my Miami Hurricanes, and you can get great action on a parlay that I have featuring the Iowa Hawkeyes, UConn Huskies, who I love this year, and my hated Arkansas Razorbacks.
Are you just stuffing promotional items into the end of this show that we forgot to do?
That we forgot. That we forgot.
I forgot to do it? Okay.
March Madness, 5 hour energy.
We're odds boosting a parlay that is currently plus 129. Iowa money line, UConn money line, Arkansas money line. We hope that if you live in a DraftKings state, you are making some money off of our picks this week.
Because I know college basketball.
You're welcome.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't watch it.
Finish us off here in Austin. Thank you for the support, Austin.
Thank you, everyone.
It's been moving to see you, moving to spend this time with you. Finish us off with something that is not great for audio, a wave.
No, this is great, Dano. And usually the wave at stadiums takes like a couple tries to get going, but we're going to bang this out the first try.
I'm sure
All right,
you
we're
will.
starting right here. We're going to move it quick. Let's go. Let's go. Move it over. Let's go. Let's go again.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Again.
Bring
One
it
more
back.
time. Again.